Oh,
But
man.
yeah, no,
Feel
I
bad.
don't. I don't wish I was there, chicken. Sorry,
Oh, man.
but I am jealous that the fact that you got KD Manjaro installed.
Oh, it's working very well, actually. I'm actually.
I was gonna say, hey Rob, that's my daily driver.
Mm-hmm. You guys are
Oh,
killing me.
man.
One of these days, I'm telling you, one of these days I'm
One
gonna find
day
the time to do it.
we'll
But
get somebody to make you your own personal Manjaro distro.
yeah, well, I got an email through the podcast, and I forget exactly what it says, but basically he was saying about you know, going through the installer again and writing down the error codes and going to Manjaro forums and
Yeah, it's a lot of work
posting.
just to.
Yeah, well, that's what I
Yeah,
mean. I like, man, I don't know, but
you got to
it's
enter
one of
those.
those. It's one of those things that it's one of those challenges that you can't. You know what I mean?
Just
You
some
got to get
self-care.
done.
Says the guy currently running Ubuntu still.
Well, you know, you got to have time for all this too, dude. Like, I mean,
Oh, I hear you.
hey, I mean, like it's like Arch. One day, I'm going to do an Arch install from scratch. But today's not that day, man, because there's not enough time in the day to do everything I got to do.
That Rob, Rocco, that's like saying you're going to want to install, Linux from scratch or compile everything using Gentoo one day. It'd be nice to happen, but it ain't going to happen anytime soon. But
Hey, Max from the Telegram group,
Yeah.
he did Gen 2. He was having all kinds of issues, but he did it. I mean, he was doing it. He was cracking me up.
there are not enough days in the year for me to go the Gentoo route.
But I don't understand what the draw is, though. I mean, besides maybe a challenge. I mean, what is the draw to doing a Gen 2 install?
Machine specific. So
Complete control.
yeah, I was gonna say it's about the same thing as Arch. It's a lot of the machine specific, so you can tailor the You don't need to pull in i686 if you're running on x864.
That was actually broken recently, I believe. i686 had some recent problems. I think it was Manjaro that actually broke it in their implementation.
Surprise there.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not saying I haven't had issues with Manjaro.
I haven't had issues, but apparently it's broken for a ton of people. I always seem to be the one that just scrapes by without any problems.
I was gonna say I had nothing but issues with Manjaro when I tried upgrading from I think it was 5.8 to 5.9.
People did. A lot of people did.
A lot of it was it was finding a duplicate libx.gl file when you were if you were running the NVIDIA proprietary,
and a lot of people are,
and it would not upgrade. Like it would just you'd download everything and it would just sit in your cache. So like you have to clean up the cache every time. It's like
I hate doing that.
So what you ended up having to do is you literally had to go into your USR. You had to find where exactly the lib GLX file was, delete it, and then it went through fine.
Well, I did get the XFCE version of Manjaro installed.
Nice.
I didn't
That's
run
their
it for a
flagship
while,
still, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a really nice XFCE implementation.
I think it's probably the nicest XFCE out there, in my opinion. I'm not an XFCE guy. I'm just not. I mean, it's the same as it was 10 years ago. Was it around 10 years ago? I think when
it's a while.
It's the same as it was 20 years ago.
So I'm not an X. I mean, it's funny because I did run it. I didn't run it. Actually, it was on my dad's computer, and he ran it for a little bit, and it's very customizable. It's just not modern enough.
Yeah. Well, before Mate had gotten ported to GTK3, I was also kind of in an XFCE phase because I was using Linux Mint with XFCE back in 17.3. But my kind of argument was, why use Mate when I can use XFCE? Because at that time they felt like they were around the same level, but now even Mate's moved forward, and I'm just losing interest.
Because Rocco, as you've learned, according to Ike, XFCE can't make up its damn mind.
I'm telling you.
But when they do,
when they do, well, they're going. I guess the new release is going to be coming out sometime at 4.14. I think it is, or is it 4.14 or 13?
I think soon is very relative here.
Well, okay, but this is soon for XFCE now. You know what I mean?
True.
So, but that's hey, there's Rob. You made it.
Hey there.
What's happening?
How are you, man?
It's the walking zombie.
I had to take a nap just to make it till 9 o'clock.
Oh man. Oh, it's late over there.
Rob, we're starting to show our age, bud.
Yeah.
Is that shiking over there?
It is.
Nah.
It is.
Ninja.
He's running Manjaro KDE right now, Rob. My
Really?
nemesis.
Yeah.
Hey,
apparently
you're
only your
there'll be
nemesis
some
there.
strange bug.
There's always some strange bug with it.
It'll run good for a week, and then it'll.
Luckily, I never keep anything installed for over a week. That's why.
Hey, that's why we like you.
So,
He's an honorary DHA member.
Running in circles.
well, it's kind of like Rob and his ROM hopping on for Android there.
Got a fresh ROM on there tonight, as a matter of fact.
Wow, what you running?
So this is a Resurrection Remix, which is
Never heard of that.
it's been around a long time. It's basically they're taking several high points from different ROMs and mixing it all in, thus the remix part. So it's basically stock Android, with a lot of additives thrown in. So
Nice.
Sounds pretty good.
yeah.
Well, I can't be a ROM hopper if I only got one phone, Rob. So I can't join you on that.
That is true.
Yeah. You want to talk about a panic mode, man, when you go into reboot after you flashed a fresh ROM on your phone, because we all depend so much on our phones. And panic is when all of a sudden it won't boot or something like that. I mean, it's it's super scary.
It won't boot, or it just sits there on the boot loading, like the company logo. And
or it'll go into reboot mode, keep rebooting.
Like a Windows 10 issue there.
I thought that was just updates in general with Windows 10, but that's just
True, honestly, yeah. I've had that so many times.
Well, if you need it, you can create a bootable Windows 10 USB on Ubuntu.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So
Why would anyone do that?
I don't know why I mean, I guess there's certain use cases for it.
Yeah,
but,
I did it actually not that long ago.
I don't know why you'd want to, though.
No, fair point.
Why would you want to subjugate yourself to more ads than you already get from Google and every other company that you have to sign up for something for?
There's only one reason. Games.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why you would do it.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually been working on this for a friend. His reason not coming over is games, but he plays a lot of the smaller indie games that run off of just small exe files. So I've been essentially spending the last few days porting every single one of the games that he says is the reason he can't use Linux over to Linux just to convince him.
Wow.
That is hardcore right there now.
It does my head in. That's what it is.
You're doing the community a service, chicken.
You are. I'm going to tell you, that's going to be one friend who ends up finding that one application, though, that there's He'll do all this work.
I know he will, too, which is the hardest part. But just to get that few hours in with him, I'm like, it's worth it. I'm going to do it.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Oh, you could always give wine a try. That always... No, it never works. No, never mind.
That worked a couple times at 10 FPS. So it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's why you have to use stuff like Play on Linux, because it's already done for you.
Yeah. Or crossover.
Exactly.
Or crossover.
Yeah.
Or if you really want to run VMware Fusion and run a full blown OS.
Oh man, I could see that crawl.
No. I've never been able to. I've never been successful in doing that. In doing any kind of full VM.
It's not as easy as it should be.
I was gonna say a lot of it's because the VMs don't have access to the physical GPU. which makes it a pain in the butt.
I tried to run Minecraft in an operating system running on a VM, and it was fine until you loaded up something that requires the GPU, which was like a resource pack or something like that, and Java just spewed out more errors than I've ever seen in my life. I was like, okay, let's not do that ever again.
So, Chicken, you play Minecraft?
More than I should.
Hey, I just saw a screenshot. Maybe you can fill me in. And it was just one of those.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where I just glanced at it, but it was, I think, Minecraft in like 4K or something.
Yes. Okay. So at E3 they unveiled the new Xbox One X.
Okay.
And it's a 4K console. And the whole gist of it is that because of that, they're going to be releasing 4K support for Minecraft, including texture packs, shaders, and whatnot. Now, I don't know if that's coming over to the Java version, but it's going to be in the C++ versions, so even high-end smartphones will eventually have it.
Wow.
Anyone choosing to do that on a smartphone, by the way, stop it, because that is insane.
Yeah, having messed around with that with my son for a while, you know, and kind of watching him and playing around with it. Not a phone game by no stretch.
Oh, it's difficult. Okay, so I'm way into Minecraft, and I've done all kinds of things, but I loaded it up on my phone, and I was like, me over here, I've even got small fingers. I mean, they're long, but they're small, and it just wasn't. It was difficult on levels I can't explain. So,
well, it looks good.
Whoever can.
The before and the after looked great in 4K.
Yeah.
I mean, the water actually looked like water as opposed to.
You ever wonder how they managed to make 16 by 16 pixels and 4K support for a block game?
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Crazy.
Floats the boat. That being said, I'm guilty of doing so on my computer, loading up I think it was 512 by 512 pixels for each block, and
Wow.
I can tell you on a machine that will run default at about 2000 FPS, because it's not a very demanding game, especially because it's mostly CPU intensive.
Yeah.
I think there was a 1080 in there at the time as well. As soon as I loaded that texture pack in, I dropped down to like 50 FPS. So while the game is very light, it's kind of like an exponential pain.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's only one step up, but in reality, you've doubled the difficulty of whatever it is on your computer, and it can be a hassle.
Wow.
It really can.
Well, there's a couple guys that have questions in there, Alan. For you got one guy that says, "Do the indie games need DOSBox?" I don't know what that is.
I think that's an emulator. I'm not sure. I've never actually used it, but I have heard of it.
DOSBox is a essentially think Wine, but for DOS.
Okay.
Basically, like any of the old school games that you download from GOG that are playable on Linux, like Beneath the Steel Sky and those kind of games, those will run on DOSBox. And like any of those like Windows 95, Windows 311 type games, those are DOSBox.
Good old days, yeah.
Well, there's another question. What is it here? What application do you use to port over the indie games?
Oh, I wish it were that simple. I wish it were that easy. I wish it were. Oh, I would be doing that all the time. No, it's just picking it apart and doing everything manually. It's not.
It's not glorious.
No, it's actually kind of like duct tape kind of method of putting things together.
Wow.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's not fun, because it is a learning experience, because I'm by no means a super experienced person. I'm doing this learning at the same time. I see something that breaks and I have to figure out what's breaking it and how do I fix it. So, I mean, this is actually the first time I've ever done something like that, which is why it's taking me so long as well.
Nice. I'm not porting any games over, dude. There's no
I don't
way.
recommend it.
I was gonna say you might want to ask Josh from Gaming on Linux. He ported over Day of Tentacle over to Linux. So.
Did he?
Yeah, so you might want
to. That sounds fun.
You might want to throw some. If you need some tips, throw his way.
Oh,
It
man.
doesn't sound like fun, Matt.
Chicken, being the young guy in the group, you've got more time.
Time is about all I have right now.
You've got more time there.
Oh yeah.
We're all old fogies when it comes to the technology side of things. Unfortunately, I don't have as much time as I'd like to get my hands dirty anymore.
I know,
Yeah.
man.
I'll tell you
It's
one thing I
sad.
don't get is sleep. None of it.
You'll sleep plenty when you're dead.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
there's
it
not
right
many
there.
people around that get a lot of sleep, so whether you're young or old. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Matt, what are you running right now?
I'm running Manjaro KDE, buddy.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
Nice.
Dude,
No kidding.
oh my
Nice.
gosh, you're kidding me, right?
No, that is my daily driver on Linux for my gaming end of stuff, there, buddy.
Oh,
Hey, there's
my.
a website where that is actually being listed as higher in the rankings. I'm not going to name the website because people love. What happened there?
I'm
People
showing
love-
you guys my.
He's sharing the screen.
Yeah,
Nice.
Oh, you just want to make me jealous,
Yeah,
right? Is
Just
that
a
what you're
little
doing?
Look at that.
Just a little bit.
good man,
Look how good that looks, huh?
good man.
It's actually, I think it's getting more and more attention. It just seems like Manjaro
It
is
keeps
really
going.
starting to. Yeah.
I don't understand how they do that. Well, it's synchronous breakage of stuff, but they fix it pretty quickly, I guess.
Yeah, wait 2 weeks and it'll be fixed.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm running, this Unity install, and I've been running fine.
Yeah, it's because
I'm not actually
that's
running.
I was gonna say, Rocco, you sure you're not running away from Unity, there, buddy?
Oh,
Well, it's a
man.
Unity install. We'll just leave it at that. I've been running it for, I think this is going on 2 weeks now. So there.
Oh wow.
Wow.
if you go another week, you're gonna end up graduating from Distro Hoppers Anonymous, there, buddy.
I'm one of the founders. How can I graduate? Come on.
Because you no longer have it.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
Matt, I'm going to hand this question off to you.
Okay.
Chris in the chat would like to know what's wrong with Unity. You can.
Matt likes Unity.
Unity has its places. I had an abysmal laptop, shall we say. I'm not going to say anything more than that. That made it good because it was a 21:9 aspect ratio laptop.
Wow.
Unity is terrific at getting excuse my language, getting the hell out of your way on that kind of setup. Side by side, it's great. The problem with Unity is the adherence to flawed design ethos. If you look at certain things like, okay, you have the global menus. Awesome. When they defaultly disappear, not so much. When your icon set that is up in the now pointless, useless top panel bar is essentially looks like it came from no one.
Don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really feel, dude.
That's right.
These are just basic aesthetics that do not make it look good. That
Yes,
is the
but
problem.
it doesn't look that bad. I mean,
No.
it doesn't. I mean, I did run it for a week or two, something like that, a couple days maybe. I don't know. You decide how long I ran.
24 hours.
24. But it doesn't look. I mean, it's not that bad, and that's the best I can say. I mean, the dash itself integrates right into the panel and stuff. All that looks decent. I mean, it's definitely a polished operating system. Is it exactly the way I want it? No. Is it something I want to run every day? No. But if I had to, I could surely get used to it and not have a problem.
I used it as a daily driver. But what I was going to say is I think my biggest gripe with Unity as a desktop, and you can say this because of the lack of Unity 8 and Mirror and all this other stuff, my biggest gripe was the fact that there were other distros doing the desktop better.
Yeah.
That didn't have the resources that Canonical was putting into the UI and still aren't. So I'm hoping with them switching into GNOME, whatever terminology you want to use, because I don't want to make fanboys mad, that
Is that possible?
Not in Linux. Oh, sorry, GNU/Linux.
There we go.
Listen, I got one tonight. Was in exclamation points, multiple exclamation points. It's GIF, not GIF. And I said, okay.
Okay.
GIF
I'm
is a peanut
guilty
butter,
of
isn't it?
that. I'm guilty
Hey.
of that.
I got some comments I can't even read on air. How's that?
Yeah.
Some of these guys are really friendly when they
Well, see, they didn't realize
help you out.
I was talking about peanut butter. They misunderstood me.
Yeah.
GIF
Yep.
versus Peter Pan, and
Right. Exactly.
Peter Pan. Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
they
that
did
in years.
yeah.
I haven't seen that since I was like 5. Wow.
Aha moment.
Yeah. It took me a while, right over my head.
Well, and while I was at the grocery store shopping for the peanut butter, I walk up to the guy and I said, "Hey, could you tell me where your GIF peanut butter is?"
Yeah,
Like,
and he
immediately
looked
the
at
guy-
you like,
Oh, he was so upset. I could see the exclamation points when he said, "It's GIF, not GIF."
Oh man.
it's awesome.
That is
It's
great.
it's the only place that every name is hard to pronounce. Linux, but
It is. It's insane, really, at times. But you know, we can have fun with it. So
some people can have fun with it. Rob.
Yeah,
Some people get pretty
that's
uptight
right.
about it.
I think people put themselves in that place though. Like, who comes up with these names?
A lot of
I think-
foreign people, according
Yeah, I
to
think-
us.
yeah.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, what language? Ubuntu is African, right?
South
It's
Africa.
an African word or something like that, and it means humanity or some. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you will. Someone.
Yep.
So that inherently just makes it hard to pronounce for everyone else. I wonder if there's a reason that was chosen in the same way that GNU/Linux.
GNU/Linux is because Richard Stallman doesn't think he gets enough credit for his work into that incorporates into the Linux kernel.
Okay, you're gonna.
I watched that video. I watched that video.
If you want to see me have a coronary on camera, go ahead, please. I will tell you exactly how I feel about the FFF.
Rob,
So you guys are running Manjaro, right?
yeah, exactly.
That's,
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah, that's it.
Mojave, what?
I think that was the name of the software my school used for attendance and gradebook stuff. They only barely got rid of it, and they implemented it in like 1998. It was
Wow.
just awful, and I mean awful in the sense that in 4th grade I was able to break it. So, of course, they shouldn't have left it running on a student's computer, but
Not at all.
yeah,
Not at all.
but it's very easily broken. So.
So I've got a question for you guys. Have any of you run for any length of time Chrome OS?
No.
Yeah.
Matt? No? I
Just me.
tried it. So when it first came, no, I tried it. I actually bought like 3 different laptops. You know, at Best Buy, they've got a pretty
Crazy, man.
lax exchange policy.
They do. It's
But-
great.
But the third time, they were like, okay.
You take it to another Best Buy. That's the trick.
But I just, you know, every time I tried it, at that time when they first came out, all of the screens were horrendous. Did you notice that? You
They
could not
still
buy
are,
one with a
right?
high quality screen. They were terrible, terrible. But, you know, I don't think it's, for me personally, ever going to go anywhere. Not as long as Linux is available, you know. Too limiting.
Well, there's a question in the chat asking, do you think System 76 will start shipping with other variants of Linux, considering the move Canonical is making?
That's a good question.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it.
No, I don't think they will. They're too tied in with, and synonymous as a hardware vendor with. That's what they ship. That's the only thing they support.
I
There
don't
are a
necessarily
couple.
think there's a reason to either.
Yeah, there are a couple shipping elementary. A couple of builders.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have the guy selling, was it the Lightbook Alpha or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Then you have and it was our reason and a few other
What is-
introware.
I don't, someone who would look into buying something like that, I don't necessarily feel comfortable that the first week of that being out was essentially the elementary team tweeting, "We don't have any involvement in this."
Yeah.
So I don't know about stuff like that.
Well, let's just say I watched one of the reviews for it. It didn't exactly get glowing reviews from the hardware. Chinese.
Pretty cheap.
It's a button bulk system. Let's just put it that way.
An Alibaba approved system. Yeah.
I tell people, I mean, if you want to try, if you're someone who's really interested in, you could go the system in distro hopping and you want to get into Linux and really experiment. System 76 is a good way to go, but also you can buy a medium tier Dell with an all Intel system, you know, that way you don't really have any video card driver issues or anything like that. And you can just about run any Linux distro that you want on a system like that.
Yep. That's what I'm running right now.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say, because I know like you can do the eBay special essentially with most where computing is at now. You can basically almost buy the $100 laptop that is, 6 years old and not have any trouble with Linux, or as DOS Geek has done, shown on the flip side, that it scales to that type of system.
Yeah. Yeah, things are pretty well. I mean, as long as you're not buying a 32-bit laptop at this point in time, you should be all right.
Hey, Rob, speaking of 32-bit money.
Yeah, that's true. So Matt had a little special for me on my first Mac. It's a Mac Mini, right, Matt?
Yep.
I don't know. He caught me in a weak moment, and I just bought it.
Too bad you're stuck on Snow Leopard, and I told you that.
So I'm gonna have my first Mac Mini, my first Macintosh, really.
Wow.
So 2 gigs of RAM. Yes.
So
We'll
do
see.
note, I am sitting here with another Mac right next to me. So
Well, there's 2 guys that are running KDE right now, so the guy wants to know how he puts a My Computer shortcut on his desktop.
Are we talking about like okay?
he wants the folder view basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I was like, you mean the one that shows you the system info, or the one?
I can't remember where the setting is in KDE because it's been that long
well,
since I ran it.
Under desktop settings, shouldn't it?
If he has the latest version of KDE,
He's on OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, so he should have
Yeah.
5.10.
all right, so he should be able to right click and go to Configure Desktop, and there should be a tab or an icon on the left that says Icons. It's a tab on the left that says Icons.
I don't see that.
Let's see. Oh, you don't see that?
No,
Huh. What version are you running?
I'm running the latest. I'm learning like 5.10.1, I believe.
Whatever. Manager
Yeah, some stupid following number.
So he wants to see he wants to show the partitions like in Mate and Cinnamon, Mate.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that's an applet, isn't it? Don't they have like a widget?
Yeah, that's going to be
that'll
be a widget.
Yep.
It's going to be like system information or I think it's KSys info or something
Yeah,
along
that's
those
the
lines.
one.
I don't know. I'm running GNOME, so I don't know.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah, that would be one of the widgets, I think, for what he's wanting.
Yeah, I can double check right now. I might as well unlock widgets. Oh, wow, that makes a god awful noise. I have my notification volume all the way up, and headphones don't do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
Add widgets, and it should be.
So Matt, you were not impressed by E3.
No. Sorry, 3 games. That was Xbox
That's all we
One,
need.
Xbox One X, 4K. Whoop-de-doo. It is legitly a customized PC that locks you into Microsoft. Don't I already get that with my Microsoft Windows S or whatever that it is now?
That's Windows security, so you know.
I thought it stood for a 4-letter word that I shall refrain from saying. 3 games. 2 of them were for the Switch. You had Metroid, the new Metroid Prime, or Metroid 4, whatever they're calling it. You had Xenoblade Chronicles and the new Spider-Man game. That were the only ones that interested me whatsoever.
No Shadows of War.
All right, so back to the question, Rocco. One way to do this, I think this is going to cover what he's wanting, is you can open up your Dolphin File Explorer and simply take your mouse and left-click over Home, which would be, I guess, close to, well, he said My Computer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, scratch that. But you could just simply drag Home to the desktop and create a link or create an icon, and then you'll have the folder show up on your desktop.
Don't they have like a folder view?
That is the new folder view, correct?
Is it? Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so you can simply just drag that folder over and say create folder, and now it's going to create under the new folder view.
I am not a folder view desktop guy.
Neither am I.
No.
Generically, I'm not. I prefer clean. And Rocco, to answer your question, I have a problem with how Warner Brothers does stuff as far as their games. So I tend to wait until they put out their "quote unquote" Game of the Year editions or complete editions.
Right. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be a good game.
That is true, but as a consumer, I just prefer.
But Matt, everybody's doing it.
That's nice. If that was the case, then we'd all be running Windows still.
Yeah, Metro Exodus was another one that came out that was announced. That's looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Only if it gets to Linux. Only if it gets to Linux.
Yeah, but the other Metro games are on Linux.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the only time we're going to be interested in the Metro game.
Speaking of pushing things to Linux, wasn't there news about one of the Google devs cracking open a DLL recently? And there was supposed to be some possibility of making it easier to move things over to Linux because he somehow made a DLL work on Linux.
Wow.
I'll try and pull up an article.
Yeah, I didn't hear
Apparently, I saw something like that.
I read a little article about some updates to Google Drive and was hoping that I would read somewhere that they're going to add support to Linux, but they're not.
Nope, they're not going to do it. You know why? Because they're Google and they do what they want.
Yep.
Because the only Linux to them is Chrome OS and Android.
Well,
I still don't understand that, though. I still don't understand that whole move, though, Rob, because you would think they would want as many people using their service as possible, and yet they would have so many Linux users using Google Drive and paying for extra storage if there was a Linux client that actually worked well. InSync works okay, but it's not like a native. No. It doesn't work like a native app. So they would have. I just don't understand the whole concept of not putting out a Linux app.
And it works within the GNOME desktop. You can go into accounts, but it's still not the same because you have to wait for it to pull in and populate.
Yes, that takes so long.
Right, that's right. It's a janky way to do it, really. I'm glad it's there, but
it was the same way in actually in Unity. It's the same way. It's janky as heck. Yeah, you can make it look like show up in Nautilus, but it's still not the same.
Another issue is that even after you spend all that time opening up the folder, previews don't work properly all the time. So even in Nautilus, you can set it to pull in thumbnails of stuff that isn't local. It still will not always work. And sometimes it'll work in some folders and not others. And others, it just won't populate at all. And it doesn't matter what size the file is. It's just terrible.
I've still got my Google Drive account for personal use, and Rocco and I use it for sharing, editing notes and things like that. But for business, I moved over to Mega because you get 50 gigs of storage. It integrates beautifully through.
It does. It really does.
Through Linux. It's a great app within Android. So far, and I was going to go Dropbox because I was like, all right, enough's enough. But I don't like some of the direction that Dropbox is kind of headed into,
Well, there's two storage things that I've been checking out, but they're expensive, I mean, it's expensive to, continually pay for storage, but Spider Oak is one, which is pretty much all encrypted, has a good Linux app. The only thing that I've found with the Spider Oak Linux app is that it doesn't, there's no way to pause it. Like, there's no pause button that I have found yet.
Really?
So I'm in the middle of uploading all this stuff, and I need my connection right away, so I want to pause it, and there's, like, no pause button that I can see.
You just have to cancel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You got to quit out of the application. But overall, it's a good Linux app. But the other one is pCloud. And that one has a really good feature depending on what you want. Like, it will keep all of your things on their cloud, and it won't take up space on your hard drive. So, like, it basically puts a link in your file manager to your files, so it looks like it's right there, but you're actually linking to what's on the website or what's on their servers or whatever. And you can also get encryption with those, although it costs about the same. If you go with pCloud and you get storage and encryption, I think it's $150 a year total. And then Spider Oak I think they got a deal up until tomorrow that it's unlimited storage for $150 a year.
Wow.
So, like, I don't know which one is better, but I'm debating, and on one hand, I want my, hold on, I got to let Zeb in. On one hand, I want my stuff on my computer because I want to have access to it, even if I don't have a internet connection. But on the other hand, I don't really want it on my computer because it's taking up so much stinking room. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so torn in which way to go.
Well, the way they're doing that there was similar to Microsoft OneDrive for Business. It was the same way as you would actually see the image, but it wasn't resident. Right. And then you could go in and choose what you wanted to be resident, I think. And then they changed it. They completely changed that. But
well, both of them are good. And pCloud actually, they both have a Android app, so you're able to get it on all of your stuff. I just don't know which way to go with it because, like I said, I want the files there, but I don't want them taking up space. So who knows? Zeb.
That was a direction that Ubuntu was heading there for a while with their cloud. You know?
Ubuntu 1 was it? Or?
Ubuntu 1, I think. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't that die?
Yep. Pretty much.
Yep.
I was all excited when I first found out about this. Was like a year ago when I was first getting into Linux. I was like, "Oh wow, this is really cool," and then it was not cool anymore.
Good morning, Zeb.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you all?
Hello.
Hello.
What time is it there?
It's 2:38.
Nice.
So, you didn't go to bed yet, or you're?
No, I just laid on top of the bed and snoozed for a couple of hours, and then set my alarm because the last time I did this, I heard the ping on my phone and my body went, "Nah, go back to bed."
Right.
So this time I decided to make a concerted effort and come and join you guys, and then I put the stream on and I thought, "Oh my God, I'm not going to go on the same screen as these guys. They know everything." And I'm just a simple user.
No, not at all.
We're all simple users.
Pretty much. Hey, I'm running GNOME. How more simple can you get, man?
I'm at the simple level where I this morning made an entire script that just prints out notifications of all-star lyrics. So essentially, it just covers your screen in song lyrics because I was bored, and that was the only thing I could do while my video was rendering. So that's the level of simplicity I'm at right now. It's just
that sounds pretty complicated to me.
It was pretty much just copy and paste.
I got a peppermint question for you, Zeb, because I know you run peppermint.
Go on then.
I have it on a family member's computer, my dad's computer, and when they change the wallpaper with the wallpaper changer, it's great, and it applies perfect. But when they change it, like when you right-click on a photo and hit Set as Desktop Wallpaper, it stretches it. And if you go into the wallpaper changer and you hit Fill or whatever other option there is, it makes the wallpaper go away and just goes black. So I think there's two maybe settings somewhere, two different settings, because the wallpaper changer is specific to Peppermint, and then I think that Set as Desktop Wallpaper might be an XFCE setting or something like that.
Well, I would have thought if it was the desktop, it would be LXDE setting, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah. See, I've never tried applying wallpaper from a picture. I've always just gone into nitrogen.
Right.
And if I've wanted that wallpaper to be part of Peppermint, then I've added it to a folder which I've added to nitrogen, which isn't very handy. So I don't immediately know the answer to that question, but I can certainly get you the answer, because PC NetSpec is brilliant at coming up with the results.
I don't use Peppermint, but it sounds like you mentioned earlier, it's calling two different tools to put the desktop wallpaper on there, and one is defaulted to just stretch it out across the place, and then the other one is.
I just can't seem to find the setting to change it, and that's what I'm looking for.
There might not be. Then that's there not unless you go like maybe into the terminal or something and change it. But it seems like if they put the work into creating a GUI for something like that, they've probably stripped out the other one to remove that whole sort of it feels like two things clashing.
Right.
Yeah, they use nitrogen to look after the wallpaper. Now the difficulty is I don't have any pictures that aren't 4K because that's what I'm going with my monitor. But let me have a look. Set as wallpaper. No, that went perfectly well. And even on my 19 or 1080p monitor, it's gone to a normal size. So
I think as long as it has the same aspect ratio, it should scale just fine no matter what.
I don't know, though, because I had that picture wallpaper that I used for the Peppermint video. I booted into Peppermint to test this out, and I applied it with the wallpaper, and it was kind of like it was near the same, but it was still stretched. You could see it was like stretched the wrong direction, and then that I'm pretty sure was a 1920 by 1080 wallpaper.
See, I leave my nitrogen on automatic,
but
so
yet
but
if I applied that same wallpaper with nitrogen, then it worked perfectly. So. And it's not so much that they can't use nitrogen. It's just that, family members that use the computer itself are used to just, dragging a picture. And they change it, they change the wallpaper pretty often, like even sometimes more than once a day.
No, it's a facility that should work. So I'll see if I can find you the answer.
Oh, that would be awesome. Because I did Google it. I mean, I'm not... like lazy and not trying to find it. I mean, I did Google. I just couldn't find out what the problem was.
So I'm in the chat. Someone just asked a very good question. Do you think Debian is getting to the point that it's better than Ubuntu?
Well, I would have to say I don't know because I've never used it.
If you want 2.5-year-old packages, sure. If you, in all seriousness, if you want stable, Debian's about as stable as you're gonna get. To me, Debian is too stable. Say what?
Debian 9's coming out, isn't it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how long is it going to be Debian 9?
Right.
Before Debian 10?
Hasn't Debian 8 been around like a long time?
Yeah. Rob, you ever used Debian?
Not just straight up. I mean, I've used various distros that are based off of Debian. And, for example, MX16.
Right.
And it's very, very stable, or seems to be.
I believe Deepin is based on Debian as well, isn't it?
Deepin is, yep. Yep.
I was going to say the last excursion for me into like straight Debian, Debian testing and stable and all that stuff was probably Canonics was probably the last distro that I used that went straight Debian.
Alan, this is just a side note. We don't mention that operating system here. It goes way back to a distro challenge that never happened. And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because I'm pretty sure certain people were given the Unity desktop at some point, but the wrong person's currently running it.
That's right.
I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, I think if Rob gave Unity a little bit longer of a try, like he's given Cinnamon, I think he might get to the point where he's okay with it. Come on, Rob.
Peer pressure.
I'm gonna be like the little 2.5, 3-year-old who doesn't want to eat his veggies.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Of course, this is coming from the guy who told me to run React OS.
Hey, we offered it to you. You didn't want to take the challenge, man. I can't believe it.
I'm pretty sure I specified the Linux distributions, not.
Hey, it's on DistroWatch. It's on DistroWatch. That's all I care.
So isn't BSD, and I said no BSD,
dude. Here, Dragonfly's catching on these days.
Yeah, so isn't Ghost BSD too.
I mean, in terms of Unity, I had a laptop that I ran Unity on, and it was great. On the desktop, though, it just didn't work for me. So, I mean, I like Unity in some cases, and in other cases, not. I mean, it doesn't seem like that one-size-fits-all type of thing.
Yeah, convergence just doesn't work. I mean, you've only got to look at Microsoft Windows 8 and what a disaster
that went well.
Desktop.
Yeah.
And everybody just jumped to classic menu or something. You've got to remember that these are 3 distinct platforms that you're working from: a phone, a tablet, and a PC. And even sometimes phone and tablet sort of convergence doesn't work. Because what works on a nice big 8-inch, 9-inch tablet looks really crazy on a 4.3-inch phone.
That's right.
It just doesn't work.
Well, I've somewhat bridged the gap here. And the laptop I'm running on is one of those. I mean, convergence sounds great now.
I was gonna say I'm sitting here running a Jide Ultra tablet. So Android as a desktop has been an interesting experience.
And I bet. Yeah, I saw the they have these, like, I think it's like 15-inch Samsung tablet / computer things they've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever could. It's nice to watch YouTube on. That's one.
Remix OS is something I think to keep your eye on. I had the Remix Mini.
I never got that working.
Okay. Well, I couldn't get it working in the resolution that my monitor. It was just. Oh. It was a bad mix between the monitor and the resolution that the Mini would support. But Matt's got this tablet, and if you take a look at Remix OS, I think they're doing a better job than anyone at taking Android and making it as user-friendly for a desktop user as you possibly could.
The thing I can say about this particular tablet, think probably the first Microsoft Surface, put Android on it, but mix it with Chrome OS as far as the launcher. That is the best way to describe what Remix OS is, what it's like running.
Goodness.
But you get all the plus of all the Google Play stuff if you for the people who want that. I know some of us in this group are trying to detract more from Google than give more. But I found that most of what I need, I can actually do with Android with a decent keyboard, a decent screen, and decent apps. Because all my Office writing stuff, hey, look, there's WPS Office.
There's Microsoft Office for that matter on Android.
There is.
That's more of a UI thing. I just don't like how they incorporate certain things. I don't like the break off that they did with like Word and all the other stuff that WPS is all integrated into like one thing. But I found like I have a Core i7, 16 gig 500 gig hard drive and all the jazziness of that. It's sitting in my bag for the last 2 weeks. Haven't used it.
Oh, goodness.
Nice to have all this equipment just laying around.
Never know when you're going to need it.
That is equipment that I had to save for a while.
Yeah.
So I've got a
cheap.
question. I've got a question for everyone here. Being someone who keeps custom ROMs on my phone, and it's just, I guess it's kind of in my nature, along with distro hopping. I would love to see a well done Linux phone, a straight out KDE based, or what about you guys? Is that something you would
Plasma
purchase?
Mobile, baby. Plasma
That's
Mobile.
it. That's where we're going, man.
I would buy that.
I would buy that.
absolutely buy that.
Yep.
I guess I'm just not as technical as you guys because I'm happy with the phone I've got. It works. It runs. The one time I tried to root my phone, I had to go buy a new one because I could never get it to work again.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I don't go anywhere near that now.
Listen, I flashed I flashed this phone driving down the road today. I mean, I
don't think there's a law
Rob.
specifically against that, so I think you're right.
Isn't that worse than texting?
Is that too far? I think that's too far.
now I wasn't texting her. I just all I had to do was hit, apply to the new ROM and let it reboot and all of that. I didn't actually install apps or anything riding down the road, but
Says the guy who gave me the 25-minute warning.
What?
Oh man, that reminds me. The other day, my mom and I were in the car, and we stopped at a light. It was the longest light I think I've ever sat at. It was a good few minutes. It was just sitting there waiting, and I go, wouldn't it be great if we had one of those bow and arrows with the suction cups? We could hit the crosswalk sign and then reel it back in. And she goes, I don't know if that's legal. And I'm like, it probably isn't illegal because nobody's been stupid enough to do it. So I think we're going to do it.
So once it's been done, then it'll be illegal.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't think flashing your ROMs while driving is illegal at all. I think it's perfectly fine.
So that would be the whole reason for the caution contents coffee's hot.
well, on the subject of cars, I guess you guys also read that a couple of the big name car brands are going to be switching from Apple and Android over to Linux and basically have their infotainment centers in their vehicles be open source.
I did see this. I'm almost curious if they're going to use Tizen, honestly.
They could.
Well, the thing is, at one point, Tizen is kind of like this old mishmash of Mamo, Migo, then it became Moblin, then it became Tizen.
And didn't I read somewhere that that's still full of security holes? Is that the one that Samsung look after?
Yep, just ask Ike on that one.
The Tizen, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, whatever they do, if they come out with this open source, their own using Linux for their own car interface, I would absolutely love seeing the Papyrus icons in my car's infotainment center.
Yes.
Papyrus icons with the ARC theme.
With the ARC theme, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a beautiful blend that is.
And I'm pretty sure I read an article that Tesla is coming up with some sort of Linux information system, but there was some sort of hint that they're doing their own browser for some reason.
Tesla does their own everything for Tesla reasons.
Just because they can.
Because
absolutely. But then
because
if you're going to buy a £200,000 car, then what do you expect?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's because the guy's name that runs those companies is called Elon.
Oh man.
Hey, Ski Master.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, boss. How you doing?
Doing all right.
What's happening, bro?
And then he's frozen again.
I am?
It's got a nice ceiling, though. I like that.
But he's smiling. Yep.
Well, I don't know what it
You got a picture perfect smile with a picture.
The camera. I don't know. I got a Logitech 9200, so it's pretty nice. Got good microphone.
Those really good still
But
shots.
the angle's not right.
It's really nice, like right now when it's frozen.
Ooh.
Is it frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? It looks live on mine.
Frozen on
Well,
yours.
I think because you're local.
This time I saw you, you were in a windstorm outside in your backyard.
He's talking to you, Alan.
Every other weekend. That's scheduled for every other weekend.
Is that good or?
Still frozen.
It's
Yeah,
frozen.
still frozen.
Can't be frozen.
Yeah.
So Matt,
it's locked.
Hit
Speaking of
refresh on your
windstorms,
browser, dude. I'll let you
Monsoon
back in.
season's coming up here. So we're expecting some flooding and
Refresh my browser.
some lightning storms as always. Oh,
so Matt, I
we
watched
shall
your
return.
last video, Matt, where you were talking about your top 5 underrated tech, and you started out with Amazon, right?
Yeah, well, they're not so underrated anymore.
So, so you'll see the comment. So Amazon just purchased Whole Foods
For $13.7
billion
dollars.
and
So is that for like delivering food? I mean, like, is that for their natural
No, I'm frozen
delivering
on
food
my
or what?
end.
Probably, but I'm just thinking to myself out loud. Well, I actually commented on your channel, Matt. So like in 6 months to a year, you can walk into a Whole Foods and buy your Amazon tablet, your Amazon phone. They're going to merge all of that together eventually.
God,
But yeah,
I
I'm
hope.
sure it's for ordering food.
I was gonna say, God, I hope not another Amazon Fire phone.
It was a meme, it was a meme on
Amazon
one of the channels.
Amazon milk, Amazon
Yeah.
bread.
So is that why they call it Amazon Basics?
Yeah, right. Has anybody purchased anything Amazon Basic wise?
No.
Because I mean, I've purchased things from Amazon all over the place, but I've never actually. I just was wondering the quality of the stuff that they call Amazon Basics.
That's terrible. Terrible. Why is it doing
What, your stream or Amazon Basics?
Yeah, that's right.
Ski.
What?
You need a new computer, dude.
Wow. That's besides.
Last time Ski was on, I gave him a hard time about his computer, that it was from the 30s, something like that.
The 30s.
30s. They didn't have
Wow.
computer set. Come on.
Was that a thing?
Come on, it's a Dell.
I was gonna say, are you still running on vacuum tubes and whatnot instead of transistors?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You know what I
he needs
miss?
a new computer.
I miss drum hard drives. I miss drum drives.
Drum
That's what I
drives.
miss. Drum
Zip-
storage.
My
Zip,
XPS.
zip drives.
Stuff.
I had a zip drive, dude. Oh yeah.
No, I think
100 megs.
it was them Mexicans in it.
It
It's
was
still a
heaven,
great
man.
Computer.
Ski, you all right?
Yeah. Can you see me?
Just a frozen screen, brother.
Well,
Just a frozen picture, bud.
I know I got a black screen over here.
oh no.
God bless America. Yeah. Maybe I could use a Linux help chat, You guys know of
My
a channel I could go to that could help me here? Please.
You need a support group, dude.
experience with webcams, to be honest.
If you're running on a Logitech 920, it should just be plug and play because that's kind of what I'm using right now.
It worked the last time, didn't it, Rocco?
It did work the last time. One of the squirrels may have died in the computer, but it did work last time.
It happens.
Wow.
It happens.
Wow.
It's like goldfish. You just got to get another one that looks like it.
Yeah, just get another one, dude. Get another one.
One of the
Speaking of
rams fell.
squirrels.
One of the rams fell off the mountain.
I can't believe this.
Shane is
guys
trying to get
amazing.
in, and I have yet to see the actual knock on the thing to let him in. I seen this knock for Ski, but I didn't.
Yeah, that was me. You didn't let me, Rocco.
Well, I missed it. I guess I missed it, but I let you in. That's how you
why.
got
It's
in.
Well, not mine. It's not my squirrels in my cage.
When Ski and me are talking,
in.
it's usually like Abbott and Costello.
I was attacked by a squirrel the other
Shane,
day.
try again. I'll just like keep my eyes straight on the screen to let you in. Okay, so try again, Shane.
I was gonna say, hey Rob, what did you think of that #1 tech brand?
Exactly. Well, it was Amazon, wasn't it?
No, Amazon was #5.
Oh, okay.
No, #1 is one
I
that
had
should. #1's one that should have been dead, according to a lot of people.
What was #1? I did watch it. What was #1?
BlackBerry.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
BlackBerry.
Yes. See, I had them reverse. I thought you had Amazon as #1. I wasn't
No.
paying attention. Okay.
No, Amazon was 5. Amazon was 5. Asus was 4. 3 was Sony or Vio or whatever the heck they're going by now. 2.
I don't even think of BlackBerry any longer. I mean,
exactly.
It never crosses my mind. But they just came out. They just came out with a new Android phone, and it gets high marks.
Exactly.
Didn't they just produce something? Some pop-down keyboard thing that's got a big screen.
Mm-hmm.
They're really writing those keyboards,
and it gets high marks. And if you've ever used a BlackBerry, they had the best keyboards on a phone,
Easily.
bar none. No one else could match it.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I have a playbook still kicking around here. Believe it or not. There's still no tablet OS that does multitasking real time. Like you.
Shane, what's going on?
Another Frozen.
Another Frozen one. Maybe it's a peer in can't handle it all.
Maybe not.
They say up to 10. I'm just saying.
I'm telling
They
you,
should be
man,
5.
Nope.
I know.
Maybe our Belgian buddy's blocking us.
Well, Shane's kind of jumping around, but he's at least moving. Ski, you're just like completely frozen, dude.
You can't see me?
Well, I can see a picture of you frozen.
We can see a picture of you.
And it's a picture of you going, what the heck's going on?
Sweet. So you guys had no clue what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely no.
You could be saying hi to all of us, and
I am.
I know. You
Oh. Be careful, it might go live at any time.
I was going to say, with your, this is a Rated G show. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be.
I'd have to kick you then, Ski.
Oh
Man, there goes the after party.
Oh.
So, Matt, you don't care for, going back to E3, you don't care for Call of Duty World at War? I mean, Call of Duty World War II? Come on. No good?
It's more COD.
Oh, come
it's
on.
more of the same BS.
Yes, but if you like
You know what,
COD,
though?
I'm hoping that it's different from, I'm hoping it's more like the early Call of Duties rather than the last
That's
couple.
what everybody
Look, I'm frozen.
says, though.
I can see that. Oh, maybe it's because I'm watching the stream on this. Oh.
So, Rocco, do you
Is
play
the
on a
stream
console
pull-
or a PC?
I play on a PC.
PC, all right.
Well,
They
no,
change?
My daughter to come
I
in
was
and-
going to say, Rocco, you got to specify when you say PC, buddy.
I play on a Windows PC. That's what I play. A Windows 10 PC.
You said
I
this
hear
was
everybody
recent.
say they want COD. I hear everybody say they want COD to go back to the old Call of Duty style, build thing. And then when
No,
they
I can't
bring
hear you
in,
guys.
because they're always
What
doing stuff
happened?
like Advanced Warfare and whatnot.
Disappearance.
Did my
It's not,
connection-
it's not even that. It's not even that for me. COD has not been tightly done, integrated, call it whatever you want, since probably Modern Warfare.
This is terrible. This is
And
terrible.
and everyone to me since then has just gone downhill.
Oh, I see. I thought my connection went out for a second. It was appearing.
Yeah, it's appearing having issues.
I can see that, yeah. Okay, well, the first Call of Duty I'd played was Modern Warfare 3, and I enjoyed that because I was like 10 years old, and shooting people's fun at that age. Not sure what that says about me.
I'm not sure what it says
Don't
about me.
Isolate that. No, but I mean, it was exciting because it was like, wow, a game where I can shoot. What I think was zombies was probably just Russian soldiers or
Thank
something.
God
I
you
don't.
can't see me.
Hey,
Graphics
Rocco,
were terrible.
Bad Company 2, still the best one.
Bad Company 2 was good. Look.
Battlefield 3 is nothing but a J.J. Abrams meets Michael Bay lens flare explosion fest.
Yes, but I like
Isn't that all we
Battlefield
want?
1. I like the fact that Battlefield 1 is different from the previous versions of Battlefield, because there were certain things I didn't care for in the earlier versions of Battlefield. You know, I don't want to run for 8 miles and then get blown away by a jet that I can't see,
Right.
and then run another 8 miles to only get sniped from 3,000 meters away, and then run it. You know, that's not fun to me. So it's like, I like the idea of the Battlefield 1 is different.
Playing in my game.
What is that? Like solitaire ski?
No. You can see me coming, but I could see you. I like
think
that.
the only
Kinda
word
like
I need
this
to
video
go
chat.
Day of Infamy, Acid said, is pretty good, and it is. That is pretty good, actually. I don't think it's as good as like Battlefield 1 or. I prefer actually Call of Duty World at War. Is probably my favorite COD game. So maybe until World War II comes out.
I think World War II is going to be something. I really do.
I'm all mine work.
Well, I watched some of the gameplay trailers for it, and it looks really good. So I mean, it's got awesome graphics. Number one, and number two, it's like really. It seems to be like close quarters. At least the maps that I was looking at, and you know, it's not just shooting people. It's, you know, building bridges. It's, you know, covering people while they're, you know, doing stuff. It's I think it's going to put in the team play that Battlefield 1, if you're playing Battlefield 1 and you're not playing on a squad with people that you actually play with,
you're very dead.
It's no fun. It's pretty much not fun at all.
Browsers not support choosing sound.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they have Linux enabled, or if it supports Linux.
I don't know where the NE key
is a PC game. I'm not sure if it's on Linux.
What is it?
But it's a survival-based game.
Rust is reluctantly on Linux because it is by the dev that did Gary's mod. So
I see.
He does not have, shall we say, a big love for the Linux community. He's kind of like.
But I think that's another one of those games where if you don't have a team that you're familiar with and that you work with all the time, you're done.
I got nothing.
Because it'll come back and it'll nip you in the bud really fast. You'll find out exactly. Did I break something?
No, Ski's still trying to get stuff working.
I was gonna say.
Well, I keep reading that message, and I think it's telling me that my internet's going wrong. So I'm sitting here thinking, "Uh-oh, am I?"
So I've got an idea. Here. He finally comes on and he's live and he's in motion. We should all just
turn
freeze.
off all the cameras.
Yes, everybody freeze as soon as Ski.
You're already frozen on mine.
It's okay, Ski. You're frozen on everybody else's, so you're good.
I'm tired of looking at myself.
Oh, so many comments I could make to that.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Somebody, I was working great the last couple of times. What happened?
Are there any questions, Rocco? In the
no, they're just suggestions for which games are better than others. Like Bad Wolf says, Arma games are better than COD games. I don't know. I mean, I played Arma, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Unity is better than GNOME.
Hidden Folks just came out with a new release.
Are we talking vanilla GNOME, or are we talking GNOME with
vanilla,
a whole crap cut?
There's not a more stable. There's not a more stable desktop than XFCE.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There's also not one that's 20 years older either.
Hey, everybody knocks XFCE, but it works. It works.
It does, but if I wanted to compute like it was 1995 again, I'd run something from 1995.
He'd run React OS is what he would do.
What? Oh, yeah.
Seb, it's all good, man.
Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I don't get this. It doesn't look modern. I mean, yeah, if you go down to Antics, you're going to get something that looks like Windows 95 or Windows ME. But everything else, maybe I'm just not fussy, but, you know, you look at the file manager, you've got your files on the left and the structure on your left and your files on the right. I mean, yeah, Elementary looks pretty, but is that modern?
It's broken.
Well, I think it has to do with, like, Zeb, what we're talking about yeah, when we were talking about what it looks modern, you know, it's like I can make the panel transparent in XFCE, but I can't make the boxes around the, like, say, the clock or the system tray icons. I can't make that something that looks
So
like,
Rocco,
depending on the theme you're
modern?
using.
Rocco, does transparent translate to modern? So isn't Windows 7 transparent? I mean,
No, actually, it's not transparent. And when I'm talking transparent, I'm talking a full transparent panel, and that doesn't necessarily translate into modern. But along with that comes shadows. Along with that comes a little bit of animation. The boxes around, like I said, the system tray, the clock, those are all blended in to the panel, to the operating system, where in XFCE, even though you have a transparent panel, as soon as you click that box, you drop down one of the ugliest calendars ever made to man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be mean about it. I'm just saying, like, they could have updated.
That's pretty mean, Rocco.
It is pretty mean. But when I'm dropping my panel in GNOME, my clock, and my calendar, I'm looking at a beautiful calendar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Rocco, how many extensions did you have to install to make that at least look decent or usable?
43.
Oh, come on.
No, just kidding.
I got to call bull crap on that.
But like I said, XFCE works great. And you know what, Zeb? You know, like my dad is running Peppermint right now, and he absolutely loves it. I mean, he absolutely loves it. And the whole, my comment on the modern look, that doesn't bother him at all. I mean, he says it looks fine. What's wrong with the way it looks? He says, you know, that's exactly what he says to me. So it's like, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just not for me. And right now, it just seems to be the easy target to make fun of. So that's why we're, you know, it was Unity, and now it's XFCE.
What is for you, Rocco?
Zeb, do you use the Whisper menu within XFCE, or you just go with the straight menu?
No, I use Peppermint, so I use.
Oh, okay, you're on Peppermint. Yeah, Whisker.
Yeah, Peppermint 8. Yeah,
I love the Whisker menu. I love it.
Peppermint 8.
Me
70, do you like the new Peppermint 8? It seems to be a little rock and roll.
AC on. It is horrible.
Peppermint 7 was rock solid, but have you seen anything with Peppermint 8 that kind of...
No, Peppermint 8 is based on Peppermint 7 with just a few extra tweaks. You've got some extra items in the Peppermint settings panel. You know, PC NetSpec has just made a few good tweaks that were asked for in the forums, but big changes won't come through until Peppermint 9, which is normally based off the next Ubuntu LTS. So yeah, if you thought Peppermint 7 was rock solid, Peppermint 8 is going to rock for you as well.
Yeah, you'll love it.
I've been seeing on the channels.
I think
stuff,
the
though,
next
there's been
thing
some
in order is
hiccups with
just
the Peppermint
getting
8
KDE
with
on
installs
Peppermint.
and hardware
That seems
issues.
like
You haven't
solid
heard any
move.
of that?
Sorry, there was two of you talking at the same time. Didn't get any of that.
Really?
Was that you, Rocco?
Oh,
I wouldn't talk over you, Ski. Come on.
You did too.
I did not. It was not me. But somebody
Was it
was talking
Toss?
over you. Well, if your screen wasn't frozen, you could see who it was, Ski.
If the hamster didn't die on the platter.
Really, you know, I had the same
I have a
computer
question for you
for
guys involving
10
appearance.
years now. Actually,
Are any of you guys
Bought it in 2010.
getting thermal?
so nothing's changed on my end.
For some reason, I'm running it on my laptop now,
Rocco,
and I
you
am
must
just
have done
watching the
something with this
temperature. Is
LinkedIn
something
thing.
happening?
Okay, Rocco, I'm
Have
just
I
going to go
broken
ahead and
something?
add to this conversation. We're all.
We're all
So,
doing it over
so
time,
we're all
each other, yeah.
speaking all at the same time.
How about we all talk at once and
I
nobody
think
can
I've
hear
broken my
anything?
internet. I think that's it.
That would be great.
Let's all pick a different subject. We can.
Okay, I got mine. Go ahead.
All right.
My pet rock died last weekend.
Yeah. So
I
anyway,
choose paving.
I was going to ask about the thermal problem, and what are you looking at to say you've got a thermal problem?
I'm listening to the fans on my
Well,
laptop
my
ramp
ass
up
is
and
on
watching.
fire.
Oh, it's climbed up to
right, the
100%.
fans, yeah.
And while normally that doesn't mean it's
Did
totally
I say that
terrible,
out
I mean,
loud?
they
Did
keep
you,
it
you guys
cool.
didn't hear that, right?
It's actually become hot to the
Shit.
touch, and I
I was
experienced
testing
this
the video
both on my
versus audio.
phone, on my laptop, and
Okay,
even on my
so the
desktop
videos,
computer.
the audio is
but
working.
there I can monitor it with Ada 64,
You
and I
know,
watch
the guy
it
that
flying
used to be
to,
out
like,
in the
almost
backyard,
unsafe
he's
levels.
frozen up in
And
the
I'm-
right corner.
Okay, now I'm getting it. Now I'm getting it.
Now
Okay.
you're getting the over talking, yeah.
I couldn't hear it before. That's the thing.
I don't
It's
hear
a
it because I
whisper.
pressed the little mute button over.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh,
Okay.
oh goodness.
Okay.
Rocco, I think you need to take control of your channel, man.
No, I just muted. So okay, I'm
Order
gonna
in the
mute.
court.
So Zeb, try that one more time. What was your question?
I was asking the young man. He let us excuse me. Was it Alex?
Alan.
Oh, Alan.
Close
Yeah.
enough.
It was the fan noise, wasn't it?
Not necessarily the fan noise. I mean, that was the first indicator, and then I started touching, and it's like really hot. But even using the app on the phone, the thermals are so hot. I actually got a warning on my phone that's essentially said critical temperature levels, and it shut itself off. So I don't get this with anything else. I don't even get this with benchmarking tools. I've had Appearin just ramp up temperatures so much, and I'm not sure why.
It's not a galaxy, right?
It's I know, right? I believe they called those campfire starters now.
Right.
They sell them in the Walmart camping section.
I don't know why Appearin would do that because I've used Appearin on my phone before and didn't.
Even on my laptop, it does it, and I get that on my desktop too, I believe. It's cooling down now, but I've actually just essentially put an ice pack under my computer.
Okay, so I'm unmuting now.
Oh, you can hear me?
I can hear you now, Ski. I unmuted you.
It's unfair, when I can't see live that you're hearing me.
But you can hear us when we're talking, right?
I hear you.
I think you just mute
You
yourself.
can't hear everybody else talking, or what?
Is anybody else talking? I thought you were all talking over each other.
We were just playing games
Of
with
sorts.
you. Did you hear that lot?
Ski, hello, Ski.
I'm gonna click on Rocco's head. He's a good target for my mouse.
Oh my gosh! What do we got? Any questions in the chat or what?
Oh man.
'Cause I've been,
I hope so.
I've been totally ignoring it.
Somebody's got to ask some questions for me by now. I mean, after all these,
I didn't even know there were comments in.
it's got to be a question for me.
It's not an Appearin, Alex. It's over on the YouTube stream.
Ah, I see. Oh,
Well,
I can see his. I can see him calling out from the dark pit he's in, though. Can you see my webcam, or is it disabled? Oh man,
Not
is it me or is
Okay,
it really
fine.
quiet?
You guys
on his
feel
end?
them and
Because when
see
he
if I'm
talks,
one
I
for
can't
me.
hear it at all.
Who, what, when Ski talks? No, coming through fine.
Yeah,
How come my video?
I
or
can't
my
hear it
sound
at all,
works,
and
but
that's
the
why
video
you guys will all
doesn't?
start laughing, and I'm like, "What are you laughing at? I hear
Christ on
nothing.
my mom.
So you can't hear Ski at all.
I can't hear him at
I
all."
can.
Do you have him muted?
You
Do you have
muted
him
me?
muted in Appearin? Do
Okay,
you
I
have
do
him muted?
see over his
I can mute
square.
you,
It says
Rocco.
"Oops" with a lot of O's, and it says we're having problems.
Look, I'm squishing your head.
That's all I see. It's
This is
happening
out of
again.
control. It's just totally out of control.
It's Friday Night Live.
It's Friday Night Live. Oh my gosh.
So at like 10:30 this morning, here's Rocco. Hey Rob, tonight at 9 I'm going to do this this community meetup, and I think you'll dig it, man. Come on over, and this will be interesting.
Suckers you into this?
I was going to say, I think Rob is being completely entertained.
Hey, this is the most fun I've had in some time, Rocco.
Destination what?
What?
I was going to say, imagine if this was the podcast.
Oh my gosh, that would be terrible.
Way
Have
too
fun.
many people.
Have fun editing that.
Hey, come
I don't
on.
think
you
that's
gotta
humanly
admit,
possible.
This kind of conversation
as
is going
much
to
fun
entice
as this
people
is,
that
I'm gonna-
haven't been to Linux.
As much fun as this is, I'm going to bow out, Rocco, because I was up at 5 a.m. this morning, and it's hitting me, buddy.
What time is that, Rob? Because I don't know what time that is.
Yeah.
Well,
So
what
you
time
guys-
have you got there?
So it's 10 o'clock, 10 p.m.
And you've been doing this
I
since
see.
5 in the morning, Rob?
So no, I was just
7:19
up.
there.
I was up at 5 this morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
How
All
does
right,
your
Rob.
hair never get messed up
All
in
right,
all this?
have a good night, man.
He
You guys
always
have a
has
great
perfect hair.
See you,
Yeah,
man.
have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right. See you later.
Ski, are you okay?
Yeah, you can't see me. My hair is not as good as you guys.
We can't see you. We can barely hear you. As soon as someone starts talking, your voice just kind of comes
You're
up
gone.
and over it.
Yeah. Okay, noob question, Ski. Have you turned it on and off again?
You really sure you want me to do that?
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. Would it help, Ski?
Alt F4 or Control Q.
Alt F4 or what?
Oh, please do it.
No!
Oh, goodness.
You know what that's going to
It might help your connection.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with my connection if I can hear you guys. I can see you. I can see you.
Oh God.
Well then, Empyrean can't be grabbing your video cam the right way.
Try plugging it into a different USB port. Like, I've actually had
Blue
that
lights
work
are
on a
it.
few
It's a
things.
920
Try different ports.
Logitech, the same one I've had the whole time.
He obviously can't hear you, Ellen, either.
And remember,
Lovely.
I was holding it up to my
Lovely.
face
Maybe
when
it's
I
me.
started.
Echo.
Oh, gee. Oh, maybe because I put it on
Oh,
top of the
goodness.
monitor. I'm going to move it. This is.
I don't think it has to do with that.
Although he did get louder temporarily.
Who, me or Ski?
No, Ski.
Oh, okay.
Rocco, this is the best entertainment I've had all day.
There is a storm going. It's a white thunderstorm.
What was that saying about as a computer tech that the fit problem was always between the keyboard and the chair?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, wouldn't it be between the webcam and the chair?
It's pretty much what it would be.
I totally resemble
Oh,
that.
man. I am currently, at the same time I'm doing this, uploading a video to YouTube.
But this is not
and
self-induced. I'm normally.
I have
totally
a really
connected
janky
here.
way of uploading videos. It's actually faster to do it from my phone than
Look, I'm
any other
waving my
device
hand
in
over.
the house,
See that?
which makes for a very interesting
fine,
6
I'll figure
gigabyte
this out.
upload
I
that
am tech savvy.
makes me unable to use my phone for anything else until it's done.
But uploading, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I know how that works.
It's better than nothing, though. You know what I used to do? I used to take the video on a flash drive to school with me and use their internet because it was just instant. I could upload a good hour of video in 5 minutes tops. Tops. Voice crack. So, just go over to a friend's house and do it. Don't tell them anything about the about how you're using all their bandwidth. Just
So Matt,
Yeah.
the last one I'm going to ask you about, Destiny 2.
If they fixed about 99% of everything that was wrong with the first game.
There's a guy that I work with who has been, he's a big Destiny player, and he's been, kind of trying to get me to get Destiny 2 when it comes out, but I don't know if I could get into that, man. I'm not a sci-fi kind of game player.
The best way I can describe it, the problem was, did you ever try to play Titanfall, the first one?
I did actually have the beta installed, and I did play it for a little bit, yeah.
Think how Titanfall was done as far as that multiplayer aspect, but that's how the story is presented. But there is no story.
But there's no story.
Because that's essentially what the way Titanfall did. There attempts to be a story, but there is no story.
Wait, you mean like I was watching one of the E3 live things, and they were talking about Battlefield 1, and they were interviewing one of the guys from Battlefield. And he was talking about the new expansion pack that's coming out, and it's introducing the Eastern Front and all this stuff. And they asked him if it had a single-player version of it. And right before this, he's telling, we like to tell stories in Battlefield 1 and this and that. And then he's like, but no, there's not going to be a single player in the expansion pack of this whole this big epic thing that they're introducing, where they're having women soldiers, women snipers, because that was the true to the facts, and all of this story behind it. No, we're really not going to have single player. We're just going to have multiplayer, because we like to tell stories with multiplayer.
Well, no, because they want the players from multiplayer to tell the stories.
Right.
hello.
Hey Joe, what's going on?
Hi, Joe.
You missed Rob, dude.
We can't hear a word you're saying either.
Well, yeah, your audio is off, Joe, for some reason.
He's actually a mime. I'm sorry to break it to you guys.
Are you hearing him?
No, not a word.
Alan,
I
are you
hear
hearing him? I don't hear him. Oh man, this is so weird. Usually a peer in works pretty darn good, and tonight some people can hear other people and other people can't hear. Man, that's weird because I can't hear nothing he's saying, and you can't hear Ski, but I can. I hear everybody.
Ski, no offense, I muted
I
you.
would try restarting your mic, or if you can. I said I would try restarting your mic. I'm gonna restart my browser because maybe it's me.
No, it's not you. Ski's still frozen.
Oh,
looking
okay.
looking down at goodness knows what.
Yeah, I can't even see him. I
And
just
the
get
other
an oops message.
Yeah. The other chap's like one of these Chinese subtitle films. I'm waiting for the subtitles to come up 20 minutes later. Just nothing there.
Yeah, it's not working out too well. Maybe next week we will do a Hangouts or something because maybe it'll work better. The only reason I like doing it this way is because you get to see everybody all at once. You don't have to wait. It doesn't swich.
How's that?
That's much better.
Yeah, that's better.
Here's what I did. I went into in case everybody else wants to check, where it says cam mic at the top in the center of the screen.
Yep.
I clicked on that, opened it up, because I have the same thing with, like, I always go back to Google Hangouts because that's what I'm most familiar with. And I had to go in and specifically tell it to look for the mic in the webcam.
Then what was I hearing you through?
You're hearing me through the webcam mic. Now before it was, see, it doesn't, for whatever reason, it doesn't stay there as default.
Hey, Ski, maybe you want to try doing that?
Yes. Yeah, Ski, why don't you try that?
Yeah, I was trying to get in when Rob was still there, and he bought. And in here, I didn't check your email fast enough, of course.
Yeah.
So
sorry, man.
That's no, that's my fault. I saw the notification for the show, and then I got the grandkids are outside in the other room, so I kind of got distracted. But anyway, hey, I did figure out. Remember, I had that problem, Rocco, with some of my Steam gaming, where I told you I was getting like that, almost like not pixelized, but where it was looking distorted.
Yes.
I had another issue where this computer was just shutting down, no reason, just all of a sudden, boom, go cold on me. And I thought, wow, now I got a hardware issue. So I had been meaning to put some different RAM in it anyway, thinking, okay, it was the RAM. And I put the new RAM in. I went from 1866 to 2400 megahertz RAM in here, still 16 gigs, and it did the same thing. So that other RAM I put in my new computer I built right now, and I haven't had a chance to really test it. Well, what I wound up doing, you know, us Linux guys, we never leave nothing alone. Remember I said, if it isn't broke, you still wind up breaking it anyway. So I must have done something in there. I know I was trying to run there's a program that you can use in there for monitoring the temperature or whatever, which it's kind of janky compared to the motherboard, software you get, which doesn't support Linux, unfortunately. So I was wondering if that wasn't doing. So ultimately, what I did, I tore the computer apart. I wound up wiping the drive. I wound up putting Linux Mint back on here again, and of course, I loaded software on, and I've loaded a few other things. But that stuff I've stayed away from. And then while I was at it, I thought, well, I'll throw Windows back on a separate hard drive so I could game on the Windows side. And I'm admitting that freely, but. Because I was missing playing even I played Battlefield 3. I haven't played the later ones. There's a couple other ones. But honestly, and I don't know if it was the RAM or if it was something in the distro, but all the games I was having issues with, they play fantastic now. And they're clear as a bell and, really, and that's at either high or ultra settings, and it runs fantastic.
I had a similar problem a while back. The computer just kept shutting off, like just straight cold. Except the solution was a bit more embarrassing because it turns out I was actually hitting the power cord with my foot under the desk.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have anything like that under here, and yeah, that doesn't help. But I was going goofy because I thought, oh my god, and this computer is going on 4 years old. It's not like it's an ancient computer, but
not at all.
What it was is it wasn't just a shutdown and nothing else. It shut down and immediately reboot, and then it got to the point where it would get up into the window, and at first it seemed like it started as soon as I did the online gaming. I thought, well, maybe there's something with the internet connection, or maybe my wireless card's bad. I was going crazy with this. But then after a while, it wouldn't even boot past the initial, motherboard flash screen, you know. Or
Right.
So I finally said enough's enough. I took a chance and just wiped it. And I said maybe I screwed up something in the distro. So, you know, that's the problem with being an enthusiast for Linux. You if it isn't broke, you tend to break it eventually. You know?
If it's not broke, fix it until it is.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
why
that's
we
right.
end up as distro hoppers, because we install a product, it works, and we think, well, I'll tweak this, I'll tweak that, a bit like you in elementary, Rob, and then you just tweak it too much and bonk, it's gone.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. I still love this.
Oh my God, he moves.
Ski, you're moving.
No, he's not.
Oh no, he's frozen again.
What happened?
Nothing now.
You better go out and tell the whatever you got, the gopher or whatever that's running that wheel, get the power up a little faster so you can get a better signal.
Oh,
You know what he
my
looks
God.
like now, though? The that what meme where the lady's like. Reminds me of poor guy.
Sorry, Ski, man. I wish you had it working, brother.
Webcam freezes.
talking over each other.
What?
I think that's latency.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
Am I moving?
No.
No,
No.
You are in spirit.
I'm sure you are moving, but we just can't see it, Ski.
I'm moving, and I can see the moving.
Are we moving,
The
Ski?
screen. I don't mean what. Fine.
We love you, Ski.
We can hear you. That's all that matters, I guess.
I envy you guys with all these games, though, because if I try and play COD or Battlefield or anything like that, 20 minutes in, I'm feeling nauseous from the character running around the screen and doing this, and so
Yeah.
I just can't do it unless I can go and snipe somewhere and sit still and not move. I can't play these games. I have to stick with racing games, I'm afraid.
But you
Yeah,
can.
I
do
actually
that.
have-
I mean, if you want to, you can go into Battlefield 1 and just sit around, sit on a hill and start sniping people.
Yeah.
Trouble is, I
have a
normally can't get to
solution.
the hill before I'm blown to bits.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get these people who park up where they know people are going to pop in and just go, there's a newbie, there's a newbie,
Yeah.
there's a newbie.
Spawn campers.
Yeah, exactly. So I just gave up. And the worst that can happen on a driving game is some numpty will T-bone you or something.
Well, you know what the answer to that is then get yourself in a tank or whatever they've got for mobile, just run people over.
That's it right there.
Hey, Rocco, we have Mr. Michael Tennell in the chat.
Yeah. Maybe he'll want to join us.
And
You're going to want to stay offline for the European trucking because just got on it and I'm crashing into everybody. Let me tell you.
That's a shock, Ski. That is a total shock that you would be crashing.
The best that I can, but let me tell you, it's not good.
Hey, Ski, you can see yourself moving on the webcam, right?
Yes, I can.
You know what you could do is you could open up a webcam window, share your screen with a peer in, but select the webcam, so we could see you moving as if it were the webcam, even though it's not direct.
Dude, do
That
you know
might be
how old I
easier.
am? I can't figure that out. Okay? You look at me, man. Come on now. Simmer down.
keyboard chair. I think that says enough.
You know, I'll leave that in my
Just a
legacy,
thought.
but
It would have worked. It would have worked too.
You think? No.
Yeah.
I can see all you guys moving and me moving. The lights are on my 920 now. I'm hearing everything, so I don't know why it isn't 100%.
What happens when you click on the cam mic at the top of your window?
That's how I got it going. I clicked on it, and, it said, yeah. It said, if you have problems, try restarting your browser. You know how many times I restarted it?
It's
What's your quality level on there? Because maybe you have to go a low quality.
It's low.
Okay. Yeah.
I see that.
Yes, it's very low, Ski. It's so low. It's
the
almost
same
standing
equipment
still.
I've been on before. You guys have seen me before, unfortunately.
Michael.
You guys should be happy.
Hey there.
Mr. Tennell, what's going on?
Oh, where'd he go?
Ski's gone.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's back. We'll get 3 seconds worth.
He's moving for about 5 seconds now. Let's see. There you go. It's still moving.
Oh, hey.
And he's gone again.
Oh,
There it is. He
And
froze.
he's gone.
Who is?
You.
You worked for about 5 seconds.
What? How is it possible? See, a new guy comes in, I work for 5 seconds. So it's not me.
No, you jumped out and back in is what it was. So I don't know.
I'm just sitting there.
This is gonna. I know it's gonna sound like I'm making a joke, but yeah, it's got the truth. Why don't you try unplugging the camera and plug it back in? Sometimes that'll refresh it.
Believe me, I have done that 3 times already. I took it out. I actually walked across to my neighbor and said, "Is this any better than your camera?" You know, asking him if he had a better one, and came
What
back.
camera do you have? What camera do you have?
I got a Logitech 920C.
I have the Pro, so it should be a good camera. I mean, but I will tell you this: they do go bad, and the reason I'm saying that is because when I bought mine, about a month in, I started having the same issues you are right now. Now that I think about it, and I had bought a second one for another machine, and I wound up just sending the bad one back and swapping it out for a new one, and I haven't had a problem since. Knock on wood. So, you know.
Well, I'm using the C920 as well, but last time I was on, you guys couldn't hear me, so I had to nick this company Sennheiser mic. Seems to be working quite well.
do it.
Oh yeah, your mic's good.
Yeah.
See, now your video isn't so great either. The guy that used to be in the backyard.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, okay, I'm using my laptop mic right now, so
That's kind of
probably
fun.
not gonna be.
You're
what's going on, man?
What he's saying.
Well, before I was using my phone, and that's got a 2K camera for the front camera, and then like 4K for the back, so it should be perfectly fine. But this is like a 480p camera.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not the best.
Your sound's better though.
But it's moving.
I would hope so,
Yeah.
because I'm not in a windstorm.
Good dig, Zebedee. Good dig.
So what kind of hardware do you have? The guy was having a problem.
He has a squirrel.
If you have the problem is probably not your webcam. It's probably the hardware you have, because like this WebRTC is what Appearn uses. WebRTC has a bottleneck because you have to have a good hardware, because every single person who connects is going to start bottlenecking you more and more. So if you have 1 to 2 people, like 2, 3 connections, you'd probably be fine. Once you start going up and up and up, it's going to just crush you.
You know what you've just done? You've just explained my thermal issue.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
And
Two
that's
birds,
why
one
he's
stone.
here.
Two birds, one
Not
stone.
connected to a server.
Ron, I hope you were paying attention. There is an explanation for me.
Oh, I see.
Well, I know
So
what
it's not server based.
No.
I was going to say, and Mr. Tennell, you just explained why the rest of his RAM chips just fell off the mount.
I actually had the same problem. I used to use a laptop a long time ago with OpenTalk, which is basically the same thing. And I used to have like problems with I tested it like in multiple variations where every time someone got to like 4 people connections, it would just crush me.
But dude, I've been on this. How many weekends I've been on this, Rocco? And I've had
I've been
no
on a
issues.
couple.
I haven't had no issues.
I don't remember how many people were on all at once.
I was going to say,
last
I
time.
think the last one was like 5 that I saw.
Remember we had that guy from Belgium that was naked?
He wasn't naked. Stop it. You're
He
starting
was,
rumors,
too.
Steve. You're starting rumors, dude.
That's the last time I was
He
in
said it was hot there. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning.
If he was, Michael would have sold him a T-shirt, right?
Yeah, he does need one.
See,
It was too hot there.
there's your plug.
Hey, at least we're not on Twitch. We would have been banned for the nipples.
Nobody showed it. In
I would have had to kick him. If
I
that was
can't show it because I'm frozen.
I love how that's the level we're at. We're
First,
missing out on all that action.
So
What a
Zeb,
shame.
you said you like racing games, right?
Yeah. I started off years and years and years ago on the PS1 with Gran Turismo, and then followed it all the way through. Completed 1, 2, and 3. I'm never going to complete any of the rest because I can't do the Nürburgring. Who the hell can remember 128 bends, for Christ's sake? It's just ridiculous.
Challenge accepted.
I can't.
Challenge accepted, yeah?
skis
Don't
are
work for hell for me.
Ski, sorry, you can't even get your webcam.
Oh,
He'll get to the third corner and go, what corner's next?
I could.
You might need a few more squirrels for that game.
Rocco.
And now I'm waiting for Gran Turismo 6 because it's been delayed yet again. It's not going to be coming out until October, November now.
Oh, come on.
New PS4.
I was going to say, Polydigital delay a Gran Turismo game. Never.
What about that racing game that Toss likes so much on Windows 10? Do you like that? Somebody, what is it called? Asphalt.
Asphalt 8.
Yeah. You like that?
Can't say I've played that. I'll have to have a look at it. I'm also enjoying Forza on the Xbox at the moment. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm just going to stick to
Forza
Mario Kart.
Horizon 3.
Yeah, Forza Horizon games.
That one's really good. I really enjoy that
If
one.
you're going to play a Forza game, play those.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10 I'm off-road anyway, whether I want to be or not. So I just keep jumping over the hills. So yeah, that's all cool. And then you come back on 3 miles later and you're in the lead position.
Trucking.
I didn't hear a word of that because Ski come in again.
I heard traffic.
I was talking about American trucking because English Bob got me into the European truck, and I tried that, and it was off-roading the whole time. But you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to be off-road.
I know.
It's like driving down a country road, even on their highways with that one. I started using that too. I've got that, and I've got American Truck Simulator, and it's I can't get used to driving on the other side of the road. He was having problems the other day too. He did a video. Right? He kept driving on the wrong side of the road.
It's tough to do with a keyboard and mouse. Come on.
Well, I cheat. I use one of these.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Where's the racing wheel?
That's coming next.
Yeah, you see, those racing wheels never work for me because you're sitting there and you're turning left and nothing happens until you get to the last quarter of an inch. And then you do a 360. And then you try and straighten it up again. And the first 3 or 4 inches either side of central do nothing.
No.
And then you've done a U-turn again. It's crazy.
What are you talking about, though? Are you using a controller? Or are you talking
no, steering wheel.
Okay. Well, there are settings you could go in there, even with these. And
I spent hours.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it to work. So I went back to the controller, which works fine.
Yeah. And the controller is a little easier, I find, than the keyboard because the tapping with the keyboard is so abrupt. Where this, you could almost drag it gently or whatever. And I do notice by default the steering has that little bit of like a little drift pattern in there. So like if you turn your head, it'll just kind of gradually do this. Well, I like it where it's more positive and I can control it.
And don't try and drive.
I'm trying to log it. It looks like it's going to sleep. It's starting to go like this. I'm looking down at the dashboard.
And don't try and drive on a wireless keyboard, because by the time the signal gets to your car, you've gone around 3 corners anyway. So it's got to be a hard
sound effects until you run over the pedestrians, which I found.
Rocco, another one.
Let's drive over the,
That's 30 points.
I found that you'll never hear that.
We already got one who can't figure out that he has issues.
This is a great sound effects where the pedestrians run over off the road.
And now he's repeating.
Well, Michael, you're into Rocket League, right?
Rocket League.
Yeah, I gotta try that
Changing
one.
the
That's
subject.
I haven't tried it, but someday I will. Someday I'm going to get it when it's on sale.
It goes on sale a lot, actually.
Right.
I was surprised by Rocket League.
It's one of those games that sound incredibly stupid and are really, really fun.
Yeah.
It's when I first started playing, I first heard of it, I was like, this is gonna be dumb, and it is dumb, but it's also fun.
It's fun.
That's what makes it
I
fun.
can't wait to play it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's not necessarily like it's dumb because it is exactly what you expect it to be, but it's crazy because it's awesome. Like you're not just playing, like you are playing soccer. In the sense of
it's like
you
a
have
party
to develop
game
skill.
almost.
Well, you have to develop skill to play this game, and it's like
What's
when
dumb
you
about that?
practice this
Yeah,
game.
don't do that.
you learn skills, you learn all this other stuff. So you are kind of competing in a soccer match way more than like if you just like play like most soccer games are like simulator stuff where you just click them, make them run around. This is like you feel like you're playing soccer in a way. So like you have to like figure out how to aim the ball and all kinds of stuff. So it's ridiculously cool, and it's way more entertaining than you would expect it to be.
So one of these days I'm going to get it.
It's super difficult at certain points.
Here comes Carmen.
What do you think about the whole potential of cross-platform play, regardless of where the game's located, as far as like OS or whatever?
I mean, Rocket League already has that.
Yeah. Well, no. Like, because weren't they talking about? Wasn't the developer talking about like trying to get like Sony and Microsoft and all that crap on board too?
No, I mean, Rocket League already has that. You play Xbox players and PlayStation players and Linux and Windows players all play the same thing. So you can all play at the same time, and it'll even identify whether you're playing on a console or not.
Oh,
they won't tell you if you're playing PlayStation or Xbox, but it says you're doing it says Cynet, and that means you're playing a console player.
Nice. Okay.
And do any of them perform better? Console, PC, or
PC is better.
That's
as far as like
you're
limited to the console's frame rate and all that other stuff. Whereas PC, I can get it like twice the amount of frames that they can.
Yeah, average frames, like even on a Steam game, even as powerful as my machine is, about 60 frames. Now, that said, there was one of the other games I tried. It was a zombie game. I don't know how to go. I don't know how to go from hell, or I don't remember. I thought I'd try this. I'm not a big zombie thing. I just thought do something different, and I was pushing 200 frames a minute or 200 frames a second out of that one. Not a minute, a second.
Mine's my average is like 110.
Yeah, so. And I've got Rocco knows what I have, but for your sake, I've got a GTX 760 in this machine. It's 4 gigs, so with an i7 4770K. Like I said, it's going on 4 years old, but it's still a beefy machine. I've got 16 gigs, and now it's 2400 megahertz. So
you basically sound like you have the same computer I do.
Yeah,
I'm running a 960.
Same graphics card.
Yeah.
Same here.
I don't know if it's a gamer card or not.
Now, my business machine, I don't game with it, even though it's technically gaming specs. I've got a 1050 Ti in that thing.
I would totally game with that and change the other one to the business one.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I got a 960 myself. So.
But don't you think the price of some of these new graphics cards, though, is just obscene?
Oh,
I mean, there was a 1080 Ti. And it's like £650. That's like 3/4 of the price I paid for my whole PC.
That's what they always are when they first come out.
I was going to say that's why most budget-conscious gamers will usually be about a gen and a half or two behind.
Yeah, I got my 760 when the 960 was out.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, mine had just come out, but even the 1050 Ti, it's a Zotac. It's one of the little minis, and that thing's. I paid like $130 something for that.
Oh, is that the one with the single fan?
Yeah, single fan. And it's 4 gig, and it's
yeah.
Have you had any problems with it? I mean, because I've looked at Zotac, and they always have like cheaper cards. They're always a couple dollars cheaper than the mainstay cards. But I'm just always leery about trying new companies.
No, the reviews on it, and again, I do a lot of research on this too beforehand, which I'm sure you guys do, but I know the reviews are very high on it. There's different versions of it too, and I think now again I got a 4 gig, but there's like you said when they first come out, sometimes there's firmware updates and things that got to be done, and this thing had some fantastic reviews, and so far. But again, I'm only using it for business now, so it screams at what I need it for, And I do some rendering stuff on there with design stuff once in a while, but it's fine.
See. What I'm looking at on the internet at the moment is a twin fan Zotac 1050 Ti.
That's one of the models.
Yeah, and they're ranging anything from 147 to 180. So.
Yeah, but I don't know if the 1050 would be an upgrade enough
from a 960.
for the money from the 960. You would
Probably
almost
not.
have to
Right.
go to a 1060 or 1070 to, for me at least, to be worth the upgrade.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think.
And so I put in 1070, and I'm now talking 430 quid. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Carmine,
What's up, man?
what's going on?
Hiya.
How was that?
Dean Martin.
Yeah, how was that, dude?
It's nice. It started today. I saw Dean Martin's daughter. She's a sweetheart. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's nice. They've been doing this 20 years ago, and she comes here not every year, but she's in this weekend because the host of the festival, a friend of mine. This might be the last year that she does it. She actually signed the contract with somewhere down at Nashville Records. So she'll be busy doing her own music. But it's a lot of fun. It's tonight. Tomorrow there's a parade. There's a meet and greet downtown. I think there's something going on Sunday. Then she flies back to wherever she flies back to. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Everybody hacks somebody sometime.
I love Dean Martin, man. He was awesome. He wasn't only a good singer; he was the epitome of cool. Sorry.
A lot of famous songs. Let's see. When the Colonel hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
Everybody.
He was the king of cool. Yeah. He was born here 100 years ago. He would be 100 today.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
He would be. Yeah, this is the 100-year birthday celebration. I think there's a couple of a Hollywood documentary team coming in, I heard. I'm not sure. But the news organizations are here. People all over the country, come in.
Right.
There was a auction. She had a meet and greet at the Best Western. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. She's a nice lady. And, of course, today there was a line of people, trying to get in, take selfies and stuff. So
Right.
maybe I'll have a chance to, talk to her tomorrow. But, such is the life of a celebrity. So
The best was the roasts when he used to do the Martin.
I remember the roast. Sure.
Yep.
The whole
I remember that as a kid. Yeah.
You ever remember seeing that? Look up YouTube. There was one where him and Foster Brooks, they're in a bar and he's the airplane pilot. That's what.
Yes.
I love
Brooks
Foster
was
Brooks.
awesome.
He was the drunk guy.
Yeah.
He had a cool joke. He says he would talk and like hiccup like he was drunk, and he would say, "Well, like me and my friend went ice fishing, and we caught 500 pounds of ice."
Yeah.
Stuff like
Just
that.
so you guys know, where
I remember
am,
that as a kid.
where I
Yeah,
live is right down the road.
his name was
from
Dino
where Foster
Crocetti.
Brooks lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he grew up.
Yeah, that's when entertainment was really entertainment. It really was. You could sit there and, I mean, I remember as a kid, you could come home every night of the week and plan your night out if you wanted to watch something on TV. The most risque show on was Friday night was Love American Style. The scariest thing out on TV was Creature Features.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going back, but I think I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Bela Lugosi and
Mhm.
Ron Chaney. Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
Red?
We have
still play
a
his songs,
channel
yeah.
here
Mhm.
that plays those all the
Yeah,
time.
Mark was good.
He was the only. I think he was the first of the only American entertainer to knock the Beatles off #1. Do you know which song it was? It was in the '60s. Everybody loves somebody sometime. That
Yeah.
knocked
Oh, yeah?
out the Beatles. Story goes the Beatles
Song.
came and of course they became famous, and he says, "I'm gonna knock the socks off the Beatles off of #1." And everybody loves somebody. There's two versions of that song. There's a slow one, mellow, and a faster one. Believe it or not. I mean, they're both gonna have the slower version, really
Is it the
mellow and
dubstep
romantic.
version?
Yeah.
But there's a faster version. I think the faster version may have been released to the public. But it's a classic song even today. Yeah. So
Yeah.
But he was the king of cool. I would have to agree. And he always had booze in his hand, but it wasn't booze. You want to know what it was? It was apple juice.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Rio Bravo was awesome movie, dude, with him in it. It was freaking
Okay.
awesome. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I liked him in Matt Helm, like a spoof of Bond. I mean, that was silly movie, but it was kind of fun. Yeah.
Remember his buttons on his coat were explosives? Matt Helm.
Yeah, I don't remember that. That was like in the '60s. Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
did.
I remember watching it as a kid.
Okay, yeah, Yeah, but no, he was cool. His daughter's got she's released 4 or 5 albums, covers, original tunes, her dad's music. Nice lady, really, really nice lady. Yeah. So that's going on today till tomorrow. So I might stop down at the local bar tomorrow night. They have like these Dean Martin impersonators and stuff, you know. So it's cool. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a good time, man.
It was. There was a lot of people there. The Best Western. It was too crowded actually, in there in the lobby. But see, I went for the free food, you know. So, and of course the birthday cake and all that. So
People dropping off like wildflowers now.
Yeah. So we right before you joined, we were talking about gaming. So tell us, what do you game with? What is your favorite games?
right now I play one game on Windows 10, and that's Asphalt 8 Airborne. It's like a jacked up Need for Speed, and I've always liked the racing games. Burnout Revenge, you know, for the Xbox. Need for Speed. There's a new Need for Speed coming out, I think, this year. But that what I've been playing on my PC here. Then I got the Xbox One for the other stuff like Halo and other stuff. I don't play as much as I used to, but usually in the summertime when the weather's nice, I don't want to be inside. You know,
Right.
so I'm out. Like tonight, I just got back like 20 minutes ago. But in the wintertime when you can't go out and play, I'm inside playing Halo or racing games, stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I do as far as gaming, but not as much in the summer. You know, I don't want to.
You
be
ever
inside.
play Grid, like Grid 2 or something like that? That's kind of similar to Need for Speed. It's
I have not. No.
challenges and stuff, a lot of burnouts and smashing.
How it is?
Yeah,
I saw
it's
the Windows App Store. I mean, there's a lot of good demos on there as far as games. I just happened to pick that one by mistake because it had a high rating on it. It's a good game. So, you know, usually when I'll play it, I'll make fun. Like I'll knock somebody out or crash their card. I'm like, that's right. Keep on texting, bam. You know.
Well, Shane just asked in the comments that will you ever do gameplay commentaries on your channel?
I might. I probably would have to get a beefier machine. I don't really have a gaming computer. But I have been asked that before. I wouldn't mind doing it, although I really don't have a gaming channel. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. But right now, with this machine being somewhat outdated, I'm not sure how smooth that would be. I think I tried it once in one of my live events, and the frame rate was that may have more to do with the internet. I have
Right.
Comcast. I have like the middle tier of their their services, but I will probably have to get bumped up on the next Comcast level internet and buy a beefier machine. But this year, thanks to the AdSense apocalypse, the apocalypse, it doesn't. God, I had so many plans to get a lot. Right now, I'm doing this on a 19-inch monitor. And this ain't bad because I won't be on it for 2 or 3 hours. But like when I do live events for 2 hours or more, it's straining on the eyes, Anyway,
Love that.
Well, I've thought about doing, live game commentaries and stuff, but I'm just not that good. So nobody's gonna want to watch me play. I enjoy
that's the
playing.
point, to make an
I
ass
have
of
fun.
yourself.
Well, I mean, I enjoy playing. It's like I would love to do like gameplay commentaries for like Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor because I love that game, but nobody wants to watch 2 hours of me playing stupid,
But then you got to be careful of copyright issues. Do you have permission from the developer and all
Right.
that? Now, if you don't monetize the video, I suppose you're okay.
Well, the thing is, having dealt with most of the publishers, they tend to not really care. They view it as free promotion. Some of them are a little stingy about it.
Nintendo.
Ubisoft is.
Well, the
Yeah.
Asphalt,
There's your
they
Sega.
demonetized it. Yeah.
There's your next podcast, Rob. Not podcast, but one of these things. Yeah, we all get in the same game. You go chatting around,
Oh, God.
and then we're shooting the hell out of each other.
Yeah, there you go.
Except
God.
for
I will
Steve, who's
set
just
up
in the corner looking perplexed.
Well, Rocco, you gotta try one of the, or not Rocco, I was just say, Carmine, you gotta try one of the Mafia games. Well, Rocco too.
You talking to me, man? I'm thinking mafia. Yeah.
Both you guys, you probably can relate to it. I used to play it on my Xbox, and I still have the first one, which is back like kind of in the 40s. It starts out and then it works its way a little bit, and they got some open top Corvettes. And half the time, instead of playing the story of the game, I got all the way through the story one time, and then I purposely started all over again because all I wanted to do is run around and shoot people and drive over them and crash cars. And I get bored, But it's a really good game if you haven't played that one yet, too. I'm trying to see if they have it available for PC.
It's funny you mentioned that. My dad was in from Rome. He's been retired from the acting business since 2004, but he brought his binder of pictures of him and Al Pacino and Marlon Brando back in the days. He was in The Godfather 1 and 2. Speaking of the mafia, it brought back some memories as a kid. Yeah.
What parts did he play in there?
Wait, it brought back memories. Were you in the mafia?
Yeah. I was in the. But keep silent, okay? No.
He can't tell you that, or you might have a horse head on your bed.
Yeah, you might get a little knock on the door from Guido.
Little cement shoes.
That's right.
What was what part he was in? In the first one, let me think. I'm assuming that you've seen the movies, right?
Oh,
in the first one, where Sonny gets the call that his sister's beaten up. Remember that? I got to think about it.
Son of a okay.
Yeah. I think I was a little kid then, but he runs outside. He says, "You stay there. You stay. I'll come and get you," or something. So he runs out the door to get to the car. He turns to the left, and there's a guard, a hitman sitting on the bench. He turns to him. He says, "Get off your ASS." And that's him. That's my dad.
Okay.
And there's another scene. There may have been more, but it's been a while since I've seen the movie. When Kay gets word that Michael is in Italy on the run for shooting the cop or something, right? Yeah. She gets stopped at the gate. She talks to the consigliere, and there's a bodyguard behind her, or two. One guy just standing with the head, and that's my dad there.
Okay.
There may have been more parts, but that's what comes to my mind. But he was in Donnie Brasco, and basically, if they needed that type of typecasting guy, he got the call.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
I've worked out what Ski's got to do to become permanently moving.
Just reconnect.
Continually connect. Just keep reconnecting, and we get 5 seconds of him.
Well, he has his pull-up bandwidth, so that's why he can't connect there. Hello.
Try the separate camera. Try that.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Suda Reboot was just giving the recommendation for the old PlayStation 3, PlayStation Eye. He might want Ski. You might want to check that out, bud.
Yeah, 2 for 50p or something in the UK. They are those PS3 eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't be running at 640 by 480, but I think that's probably all his computer.
Let me tell you something. All of you, okay? It has nothing to do with my hardware. It is totally software related. Because right now, I'm trying to connect through Windows 10.
There's your problem.
Obviously.
So, okay, it sounds like you're having an issue with your chair to keyboard interface.
I had no issues.
I don't think it's the Windows 10 issue.
It's a Windows 10. Same hardware.
No.
I don't have a problem connecting with Windows 10. I have the connection. See what I'm saying?
I was gonna say.
Carmine, you connected after Ski, and you're coming through fine. So I don't know what's going on with Ski.
Stop it, Rocco.
I'm just saying, Ski. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know you're.
Well, if I remember right, Ski, don't you have a lower bandwidth too for your provider? If I remember right.
Jeez.
I mean, you don't have a lot of.
No, I don't have much to work with here.
Yeah, that could be part of it too, because it's even when you have a faster, like I've got 60 megabytes here, but even when you have that, the more it could still bog it down. But if you're on, if I remember right, you said you barely had 6 or 10 or something like that, right?
Oh, I was good when I was on my Intergos Gnome. No problem, right? You guys saw me.
Yeah. But what's your ISP? What are you getting for megabytes from your ISP?
Not much. They max me out at like 3 megabytes per second.
Yeah, there's your problem.
Yeah.
That sounds like DSL.
Yeah.
It's actually up. because
3 megabytes per second
Spectrum
is not
took
bad at
over
all.
my Time Warner cable.
That's pretty good.
Spectrum upgraded us to say you're going to get better now. So we went from 2.5 to 3 megabytes per second.
Wow.
3 megabytes
I
a
think
second.
Turbo speed.
I think he means megabits. I think he means
Maybe.
3
megabits.
megabit per second would suck.
By the time I'm 100, maybe we'll get up to 5 megabytes.
Yeah.
You see, that's the problem, Michael. Not
Depends
many
if you
people
mean
know the
bit or
difference
byte.
between megabytes and megabits.
There is a difference, and there's
I know
8
there's a
bits in
huge
byte,
difference, yeah.
So yeah, if you said like, they all advertise on bits, so if you have 3 megabyte, you have a really good connection because that means you have 30 megabit.
And I might have misspoke. I might have said megabytes, but either way, it's the point is I remember he had probably the least amount of bandwidth from anybody in here.
I'm surprised that 3 megabyte for a cable company even exists. Honestly,
I'm just going to speak for all of America right here. Our upload speeds are crap.
Yeah.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
How dare you, sir?
That is totally out of line, Alan.
I blame them.
How dare you?
It's obviously not my tech savvy.
I'm a patriot. How dare you?
So
I've had faster.
So tell me then,
server
what's the
connections.
difference? I mean, I'm on a fibre line in the UK, and I've got an 80 down and a 20 up.
What?
That means I can download at about 9 megabytes a second. But am I talking megabytes a second or megabits a second?
You have 80 megabit, 9 megabyte.
80 megabit, 9 megabyte. Right, lovely. So yeah, cool.
Because there's 8 bits in a byte.
That sounds amazing. Can I have some of that?
And they use the bits term, like, as technically what they're doing is accurate to what, like, people think it is like a marketing because they give you a higher number. That's not really what they're doing. They're talking about the throughput. They're not talking about the amount of you can download speed.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say throughput, the bit is a more accurate definition of throughput. So that's why it's a lot more confusing when you start looking at their marketing terms and what you actually get when you download a file versus when you go to speedtest.net or something.
Yeah. And also, am I right in saying that if you haven't got a good upload, then it doesn't matter whether you've got 200 megabit download. If you've only got 12 megabits that goes with that up, you're not going to get the full potential? Because
depends
to
on what
download, you've got to be able to upload some information as well, or does that not matter nowadays?
Typically, yes, but it depends on what you're doing. Like certain games, for example,
while you're trying to download, saturate.
Like here's an example. Like I'm gonna go back to Rocket League as a one of those guys. But Rocket League doesn't send the video back and forth to the servers. It sends metadata. So you could have like a super crappy internet connection, and it's just going to send data back and forth. So it's just fine.
Well, I have I can get speeds. I think it's 120 or 140 megabit download, but it's only 10 or 8 or 10 upload. So
yeah, if you're going to go to if you were trying to upload video or something, then your upload speed is very important. Or if you're going to do streaming is very important.
You guys can't see me, can you?
Do what?
Still picture.
No.
Thank God.
To why I upload videos on my phone, I've got a 28 megabit down connection and not even 1 megabit up. I've got 0.86 megabit up. Wow. So that's why I do this. That's how crucial it is. It would just take everything down.
I used to have AT&T DSL for a while, and it kept cutting in and out. Then one weekend or half the weekend, I lost service. So they knew they send the service man over. And of course, if it's inside your house, they will charge you. But it was outside the house. So he comes in, he's a nice guy. I think it was a Saturday. He's looking at the pole in the main junction box. So we're chatting. I said, so what do you think is the problem? Oh, we have water damage in the lines. And it was raining that day. And I'm thinking to myself, no, honest to God, I'm thinking to myself, dude, that's not very encouraging. So I went back to Comcast. You pay more, but it seems reliable, so.
I use Spectrum.
What's Spectrum?
We don't have much down here.
Charter.
Oh. I'm Comcastic.
Yeah, same here.
I have
Charter's actually awesome.
negative
They're
connection.
terrible, technically, but in the comparison between Charter and Comcast, Charter is like angels.
Yeah.
Are you talking from company perspectives?
I'm talking about like the quality of the service. They don't throttle ever.
Yeah.
They don't have there's no bandwidth cap, nothing. The fees that you pay are completely clear. You don't have extra hidden fees all the time. It's this monthly fee and that is it. And the customer service doesn't make you want to rip your hair out.
Which Comcast it does.
Convenient.
Yeah.
So overall, in comparison, for me, when I have to deal with them, they ask me dumb questions because they're supposed to, and their list they have to go through. So that's annoying. But overall, after the videos and all the things they put on YouTube, people the customer service that Comcast provides, it's amazing in comparison.
Can I ask you one question?
No.
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
It's what Michael said. It's between the keyboard and the chair.
Yeah. But you would have thought all of these technical support sites would have learnt by now their customer base. So, because you talked about they going through their crib sheet and they have to ask you the raft of stupid questions first. Surely they can go, hey ho, this is Michael on the phone. Let's put him straight through to third line support.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's more of an issue of the customer service agent has this sheet they have to go through. If they don't go through it, they get penalized. So if they try to skip it, unless you prove that you know what you're talking about and you can tell them to skip it, then they'll do it and it's okay. But if they just go ahead and skip it and know you, then they're going to get fined for it.
Yeah, basically, if you tell them, I've already tried turning it on and off, I've waited X amount of time, I've unplugged it, I've plugged it back in.
I've even used terms that they use because I know people who worked at some tech support places, and I asked them what are tips that you would know, and I even had to call into one of his tech support. I can get to talk to him because that'd been fun. But it was more the power cycle, for example. They'll ask you if you just say I've already done power cycle, they were like, okay, that's great, we'll skip that. But then it kind of gives them a tip that you already know something, but they still have to go through the process anyway.
Yeah, but they should be able to have a marker on your record that says, okay, this is an intelligent user. Don't ask the numpty questions.
That's too much work.
I just find it so frustrating to have to waste 10 minutes.
So
I
did you
understand
see
the frustration
this
of
Bob's
customer,
video earlier today where he scam baited?
Well, what's funny is I've got a nice
Zebedee
fast internal card in that machine, and that's what I was running before, and I was having signal drops because my router's down a level down below, and I plug in a 150 megabit whatever take it USB wireless device, and I thought I'd run a speed test before when you guys were talking about it, and it said I have never had this slow 7 up. And go, what? And it's running fine. So I thought, okay, let me switch over while we're talking. I'll disconnect one, go to the other, and it was all doing it fine. As soon as I dropped off the USB drive, I lost connection. So I don't know what's going on. And you know what? Maybe it is my wireless card that's causing problems there. I don't know. But it's a TP link, and I've got them in both machines, and I've never had a problem. And those are like 50. One of them is actually 13 or 13 something, 1300 something is supposed to be for speed. And I've always gotten, 260 217 as far as what it's showing for signal pickup, but yet it would get the stuttering or the drop off. So I know I got to get the router up here. I don't know if you guys have ever used signal boosters, which I don't know if that's even worth the effort, but
No, I've never used a booster.
Yeah.
I try not to use wireless. It's just the signal drop-offs around here are just crazy. And unless you've put a wireless sniffer on and found out the channel that's the least used, it just doesn't work for me. It's got to be wired.
I've got everything here on 11.
Yeah, hardwiring is probably always going to be better if you can do that. So
Unless someone steals their neighbor's Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because people are put effort into making Wi-Fi work in certain cases, and it's like, why? Even if you do get it, you're throttling yourself for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, but why would you say you're throttling yourself? Because I get
because Wi-Fi can't go as fast as wired. It's just Ethernet is you can get 100 megabit Ethernet or a 1 gigabit Ethernet, but you can't do that with Wi-Fi. There's a certain limit max that Wi-Fi cannot go beyond, regardless of what version of Wi-Fi you have. Even AC is like maybe a third the speed of Ethernet, and it's the fastest one you can get.
Then why do I get higher speeds on Wi-Fi than on a wired connection? Because when I go to speed test or whatever, and I do a connection speed through the wired, it's always 20 to 30 megabits slower than my Wi-Fi connection.
That's odd.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all. That sounds like a hardware issue for your card, your Ethernet card. Like maybe your motherboard's got a bad throughbut for it.
That's no good.
It should be the other way
There should
around.
never be that much of a difference, and if there is a difference, it should be the reverse.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It should be the opposite way.
Yeah.
Well, then I have to look into that because seriously, I have a slower connection on the Wi-Fi than I do on wired.
Oh goodness.
Rocco, have you
Like-
ever tried to do a BIOS update at all on it too?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you ever tried to do a BIOS update on your motherboard at all too?
Not in the last couple of months. No. I mean, yeah, I have in the past, but not in the last couple of months.
The
That's
other
another thing I don't do. I don't do BIOS updates. I rooted my phone and blew it up. The last time I did a BIOS update was about 1992, and it broke a company machine, so I don't do BIOS updates either.
Well, that's
I
actually
mean,
you gotta be careful.
that's
You gotta
not
be careful with
good.
that. But the other thing you might want to do is if you could log into your router. Sometimes there's a setting in there or settings in there it could be off, or maybe if you haven't done a firmware update on that in a while too, because I know I had an issue for a while there where, again, the signal drop. I'm calling the provider all of a sudden, and they kept saying, "Well, no." So I go down and take a laptop down there and wire it in and see it, and my signal was fine. So they said, "We know you've got good signal going to the modem." So then what I did is I logged in here, and now I periodically log in and I look at my firmware, if there's firmware updates. And interestingly enough, is I did a firmware update and I started having signal drops, and it wasn't a month or two later they did another firmware update and it fixed it. So like everything else, sometimes an update will break something and fix it, but if you haven't done one of those in a while on your router, that could potentially be it too.
Would the length of the cable matter? Because I know the router is downstairs and I have the cable running upstairs.
It depends on the cable, like if it's a Cat 5 or Cat 6 or something like that.
If it's more than
Cat 6
100 feet,
cable.
maybe. If you're less than 100 feet, it shouldn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a Cat 6 cable because I bought it for that reason.
Okay.
So that I
If it's a Cat 6, you're fine.
I still don't know why I would be slower on the regular Ethernet then. Maybe it is the port on the motherboard. It's not.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Allowing it.
That's the first thing I would look at, mainly because you could the easiest thing to do is to test another computer or anything else, plug that in. And if you have like a laptop with Ethernet, you should check that
Or
out.
another cable.
Yeah, is
Another
it
cable. But if
connected?
it's that long, you might only have one of those.
Do you come from your router to a wall socket, it then goes up inside the house, and then from a wall socket to your PC, or is it just one contiguous cable?
It's one continuous cable. We put a
Okay.
hole in the floor and whatnot.
Yeah, you should if you got a laptop or something that has Ethernet, you could take it down to the thing and test it to see if it's the cable or if it's overall the connection for the computer. But yeah, that shouldn't ever happen. Like Ethernet should always blow away Wi-Fi.
Well, it could also be a router issue too, couldn't it? On the other end, you could have.
It's possible, but you could test that easily just by disconnecting from the router and using the modem directly. See if it works fine that way. That would guarantee it's the router, but otherwise, typically the router is not going to be the bottleneck.
Right.
Well, this is a
It's just
pretty
gonna
good
be like the
router
same
too.
We know what Rocco's doing tomorrow.
No, Rocco's going to work tomorrow because today's my Sunday. Basically, I'm heading back to work.
Which is
Hey Rocco, can I ask you a question?
It depends on what it is, Alan.
Did you get a notification?
Did I get a notification? No, I
Yeah.
did not.
Yes. Awesome.
No, I did
It
not.
worked this time.
Yeah, no, I didn't get one.
Have you heard of the light book?
Oh my God, he bought one.
Oh my. Oh my.
You missed the conversation we had about that earlier.
It's got an Ethernet built into it.
Wow.
Oh, doesn't it look
There was a
obvious?
video I saw. I don't know who did it, but there was a video on YouTube. It's like the light book review, and it's like, "There's an Ethernet port. That's weird." Like, no,
Nope.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is good.
What is this source?
So
But
what's
it's actually
what's
pretty
the specs in that?
It's actually pretty slick. You like, it's got like it is plastic for sure, but it's got a nice little texture on it. It's not like just basic nasty plastic or whatever. But it's a 1080p screen and like it's a good hardware spec and everything. It's a surprisingly good laptop for the price it is.
Oh my God, Ski, you're actually
he's
moving.
here.
Whoa.
I know.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
You
you
are.
are.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
You're looking better than you were.
NSA did something. I just been sitting there.
Honestly,
Wait.
You're on.
Yeah. Well, it's working now. So welcome.
Working.
Bye.
Apparently, the Rams climbed back up the mountain.
did you download more RAM?
You added a squirrel, didn't you?
No. Must be NSA.
He went out hunting in the time he was gone.
It happened right after Toss got on. It must be. Who'd you tip off? Was it
Hey.
D. Martin?
Hey. You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
So, Michael, what's your thoughts on the light book then?
What happened?
I'm doing a review for it, but the basic approach is
That's
it's
weird.
awesome
I was
for
just sitting
people
there.
who don't need a lot.
So,
If
Chromebook.
it's like an average user, like like you want to give a laptop to someone who's like your grandmother or something, it's perfect. Like it's if you try to do complicated stuff to it, it's not. But if it's like just the basics of browsing and file management and stuff like that, and listening to music, looking at photos and watching videos and YouTube and stuff, it's great. Like I have no issues really.
Can't believe it's working all of a
He
sudden.
is like a kid in the candy store. Oh,
He
goody.
is.
I can't fucking believe it's working all of a sudden. I just sitting there, all of a sudden you guys are like, "Hey, he's moving." I didn't do nothing. I was sitting there. Goddamn good thing they can't see me.
Are
You
you
all right,
on
Ski?
Windows or Linux?
All of a sudden you can.
Are
Yes,
you on
are
what?
you on Windows or
or
Linux? Ski, wake up. Are you, are you on Windows or Linux?
Both. Right now I'm on Windows 10 because I was playing my games, my Blizzard games. I can't play them on Linux.
So here's an interesting bit I built. Have you ever heard of Hot Swap Bay?
No.
Okay, Hot Swap Bays are awesome because their purpose is it's a drive bay that you put on the front of your computer and the desktop instead of the stupid optical drive for CDs that who the crap uses those anymore.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
You
Like an
replace
external
that
drive.
with the hot swap bay, and you can put a drive in and out. What you can also do, if you have two, is get two hot swap bays. They have some bays that have a power button on them, so like individually powered by the bay. Put a Windows machine in one drive, a Linux machine on the other drive, and never do any partitioning crap for your boot or anything. You just turn that one on, turn this other one on.
Sounds
fine.
interesting.
And I built that on mine.
Amazing.
Did you?
Nice.
And that will
So I
fit
have
in,
Windows-
in
I
an
have a
old-fashioned
Windows
CD-ROM.
I
Space,
never
yeah.
have to worry about Grub messing up or Windows update screwing my system or anything.
And that's
Will
something
that fit in a,
So that swappable, hot swappable, whatever that thing you said, it has a power button on it, and that's what you would.
Some
turn
of
the
them do,
computer
yeah.
with?
Not most of them don't, but there are a few that do. And if you get
My
them,
ThinkPads
I got
had
two
that. They call them hot swap. My ThinkPads, you can plop in like a CD-ROM or a floppy back then or whatever, but they call them hot swap. I think. Is that
Yeah,
what
hot
it was?
swap.
yeah.
Okay.
Now this is a hot swap for specifically for hard drives.
Got it.
Do you remember the old tape backups? You used to plug them in the machine. It's kind of the same thing, same principle with this, with these drives. You could plug them in and then plug them and switch them out or whatever. And mine are internally mounted right now. And the only problem I have is I didn't set it up to where when it boots up, I can take a choice. So what I do is when I want to boot in it now, I just hit my I hit F12 and go into or hit F11, excuse me, and go into the bootloader and then pick which drive. But I've been thinking about doing exactly what you're talking about, Michael, because that would be so much easier to just turn it on and
I
off.
tested it to see if I just had the theory to do it and see if it would work and see if I didn't have to worry about any boot partitioning or grub issues or anything. And it totally works because this particular hot swap bay has a power button on it. You just turn it off and the motherboard doesn't even see it. So every time I just turn my computer off, hit the both buttons, toggle them both on or both on and off, and I can just switch easily and it power back up, and it goes right to where I want. So you got dual boot with no hassle.
So you never have to change the BIOS or go into the boot menu or anything?
Never have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about Windows crushing Linux partition or anything. Never going to have a problem.
Sounds like an awesome
See, I've never had that happen. I've never had Windows trash my Linux.
There was a huge update, depending on what version of Linux you were using. There was a huge update about 3 months ago where Windows 10 would totally just wipe your machine.
Well,
it would wipe all your other partitions.
What, the Creators Edition update?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't update to that, and they did fix that before I updated to it, so that didn't happen to me.
If you paid attention, if you got lucky and didn't update quickly as an early adopter, and then waited until they fixed it, and then did it, you're fine. But I'd rather not have to have any of that hassle.
Yeah, maybe I'm just lucky then, because I don't have those issues.
Yeah, the advantage you're talking about, Michael, though, too, is like now, if I bring up my home folder, or go into my home folder and see the files inside in the tree where you'll see all the drives that can be mounted or not mounted, the Windows drive will still show up in there. And if you're not careful and you're a novice or whatever, you could turn around and mess up the other drive that way. So the advantage to powering it off, if it's not even there yet, you don't have that issue then.
You can't accidentally write anything to it or anything. Yeah. I mean, you could power it back on while you're already booted if you wanted to get some files off or something, but I don't do that because my Windows drive is solely for games, so I haven't turned it on in about 4 months.
Yeah. Do you have a link for the bay you bought?
Nope. I'll get one though.
Because I would love to look into that, man. That would be awesome. Because that's one of the biggest pain in the necks is to worry about the grub being messed up. Even from a Linux distribution, where you're not seeing.
People all talk about how they distro hop. This makes you completely easy to distro hop. You just have one drive that's specifically for testing and playing with stuff, and another one's your primary. When you want to play with the other random thing, just take the other one out.
Why can't you do that when they're installed internally?
Yeah. Well, this is when you don't have to. This is basically an internal install without having to take the panels off and anything.
But if you've got, let's say, 3 SSDs inside anyway,
where's the thrill in
that? As long as you're careful.
Well, I mean, why would you? Okay, it's easier. But the issue is you can do this. Sure, you can have 3 machines in there, and you can do messing with grub. I want to pick this one and blah blah. Sure, you could, but what is the benefit of doing it? Like, I can guarantee I will never accidentally overwrite anything because they're not even there.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
plus for me, I know every time I go to install any kind of Linux distribution, I have to sit there and wait while the installer just spins and spins because I have a couple different hard drives in my computer, and one of them gives the installer a fit every time. So I have to manually go in, and if I want to have an install and not take a half hour, I have to go in, shut my computer down, unplug all the hard drives, leave the one in that I want to use, and do the install there, and it'll go through right away. And this would make it to where I could just hit the switches.
Yep.
And it would only see one, and that would be awesome.
Is this the one you have, Michael? The IC dot?
That would probably work though.
Yeah, that's just an example of one that's got the push button.
Is it the car stereo?
Yeah, that is actually one of them that would probably work.
Looks like an 8-track player. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
It does. Yeah, they all basically look like that. Yeah.
Well, they range from. I'm looking at Newegg now, and they range from $20 to $40.
Yeah.
For the ones you're talking about, it just depends on which one you want to go with. I guess
something 25.
Rock on, Rocco.
Oh. So Rocco, which distro are you on now?
Well, I'm still running my Unity install, but I'm not running Unity.
You're running.
What are you laughing for, Matt?
I still say Rob should have taken that challenge.
Well, it's been I started out with a Unity install, and then I have installed GNOME and Cinnamon alongside of it. So I've been pretty much running GNOME.
Really?
Challenge Linux from scratch?
No, sorry. I mean, if I had the time, I would. And someday I'm going to do that. But
I did Linux from scratch one time. It's like torture.
So it's like Gentoo?
No. Gentoo is like the most simplest, easiest thing possible compared to Linux from scratch.
What?
Linux from scratch is ridiculous. Like with Gentoo, there are builds that you can have some things that do.
You're ready for a Debian 9.
So Linux from scratch, you're doing absolutely everything.
Rocco, you are Debian 9 totally.
Well, I don't know. No, I'm not Debian 9. Ski, come on.
Yeah, you are.
Debian 9 is actually
KDE. Get with Debian 9, and actually you can do KDE on top of that.
One day I'm going to cut out the time, and I'm going to do a Linux from or an Arch from a Linux from scratch type thing. But
no, don't do that.
Not right now.
About a week.
Tomorrow they're releasing
right
Debian 9.
I don't even do an Arch install. I'll use one of the installers. Just
Arch install takes about probably take about a couple hours. Gentoo would take about a day. Linux from scratch takes about a week.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Why
would
you have to compile
you do that?
literally everything, including your browser, everything.
You compile everything for. Think the times where in the AUR you have to compile everything from source, and that's pretty much
something that
what
Trump
it
would
is.
say.
And then you have to fix it when it goes Pete Tong. So no.
Yeah, it basically makes Gentoo and Slackware look like Ubuntu in comparison.
That's
Sounds
not
fun.
for me. No,
It's fun, and I like to say, hey, I did it one time and used it for 20 seconds and got rid of it.
That's why I got to type in sudo reboot.
no, not for me.
So what was the challenge?
Well, Matt, what was the challenge?
Well, originally the initial challenge. So you really want to go there? You really want to go there, Rocco?
Don't sugarcoat it, Matt. Tell us what the challenge was.
The initial challenge for Rob or Linux Quest and Rocco, I challenged Rob to run Ubuntu, straight Ubuntu with Unity. He can't stand it, and I know it. And Rocco I gave you one of the better choices with Deep in Manjaro.
Oh my gosh, no. And we gave you React OS.
You guys gave me React OS as the counterpoint.
That's just wrong right there.
But hey, look, he started it by doing the challenge. He started it. So we gave him React OS, and surprisingly, he just didn't want to accept the challenge.
Okay, no, actually, I did try to accept that challenge. Unfortunately, React OS does not play nice
With anything.
Itself.
Well, I didn't try it, and I ended up trying to install it on a 32-bit like HP netbook just so I had the system too. Still didn't install.
No, React OS is it's something that's really cool that I hope they actually eventually do it, but they probably won't.
It's been in beta stage like since Fred Flintstone days or something.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So long.
The latest version took them 10 years to do.
What's the point? Well, it was to make it look like Windows XP. Oh, that'll switch many users. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when they stopped supporting it.
Well, it's like RoboLinux 8.8.1 or something came out. Like, what is the point of that? Like, I mean, I don't get it.
Oh, you like it, huh?
Yeah, no, I just don't understand the point of
You
making
took the guy
a
in the
distro.
commercials for that Robo Linux guy.
I don't understand the concept of making a distribution solely for the purpose of so you can run Windows better.
Then why are you doing the ads for it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of ads, Linux is everywhere.
Aren't you glad I'm live
It's up
now?
for sale right now.
Hey, do you guys want T-shirts? Because Michael's selling T-shirts.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Robo Linux ones.
good plug.
This sounds like a movie title. First there was RoboCop, then we'll have Robo Linux, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocco Linux.
Wait, where's the link here?
And
Hey, freaking Rocco Linux. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, we got. Okay,
Wow.
so what's this
How do we find Rocco Linux?
Rocco Linux?
and somebody in the chat room actually used one of the nightly builds for Canonics.
Oh, that's not the right one.
So there you go. There's the link for
All right, cool.
Michael's T-shirts. Linux is everywhere.
I'm so glad I fixed my
I like what you did
connection.
with Tux there.
If you get it a better, like a bigger full screen or whatever, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the arrows in the
Well,
corner.
that actually looks really nice.
Yep, it looks pretty good, and you can get a T-shirt, you can get a hoodie, a woman's
Stickers.
t-shirt,
Really?
a long sleeve
Serious?
t-shirt, a sticker. The sticker would be awesome, man.
No, it wouldn't.
And you can get it in
Why is it
multiple
awesome?
colors.
Are you kidding
I'm
me?
gonna go with the hoodie.
Have you even
I
seen
do.
it?
What are you,
What are you talking about?
it's like spam. Spam live.
I mean,
This
I might
is
buy a
the-
Linux thong, but
This is a plug I'm not even getting paid for.
Michael, is this more like the one you have? And the only reason I'm asking is I put this description in for Frank because this one looks. It's got you could do SSD or.
Okay, so no. Okay, well, here's
Do
the,
I?
what I got
What
was
is that?
what I don't get what I
Oh.
got essentially, because you're gonna have a situation where I got something because it was more like this was the first idea I had, and no one had done it before that I could find. So I was just playing with things. I got something that doesn't have SSD support, so that I had to do like a little compensation to get it to work. So it's not a, it's like a, it's open like that one though. So it was like kind of like the hole was too small or too big so that the SSD might fall through. So I had to be careful and like kind of create something to kind of hold the base of it. So if you can get one that has SSD built into it, then that's probably better as long as it has the power button. The only thing that's important is the power button.
Well, the other thing too is if you're having issues, well, I'm sure you're aware of them, is they do have SSD brackets, like they'll go in for a 5.
Yeah, I already got that.
Or 3.5 down to, 2.5. So.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, but this one, because I saw it, and this one looks like it's got USB 3 built on it too, which I like. So that's why I mentioned this one in the chat because Frank Martin was asking about, what is it called? It's actually called Hot Swap, but if you look at here, it doesn't say Hot Swap in the title. So if you were searching it may or may not show up, although it shows it in the description on the bottom. And as soon as I saw SSD support, I thought, wow, that's awesome. So now if he wants to do a 3.5 inch drive versus 2.5, then that's a different animal. We probably have to search that out a little bit, but.
There are a couple there's one that's like $50. I didn't get it because it was way too high for that, but it's a combination where it has the ability to do both at the same time. Not at the same time, actually. It has the ability to do both. You could say, I want to use the smaller version, and it has like a guide that you can kind of, it has a built-in guide that removes when you use the 3.5 one.
Right.
That's the one that I found on mine, and I'm hoping those are on-off buttons on the side there.
Probably
That
open
might be.
tray button.
Those look like locks. Well, on the side they might, It might be the very small one, the little
No,
buttons.
there's that looks like a button to open the tray and a button to lock it.
Right.
Yeah, but on the left, you've got your normal lever to pull it out. You've got your lock, which is the round thing. But then I'm talking about on that far right bezel.
It could be an
Like
identifier of that it's on.
Yeah, but hey, it's something to consider. As you say,
if you want to
never ever trash your system again.
If you want to check it out, like I'm actually making a video about how I did it, and I took photos while I was building it and everything. So it is definitely something to look into even if you're not even intending to use Windows. I just wanted to see if I could because Windows is the most volatile for anything else.
Is anybody curious how I got my video to work?
Not really. No, I'm just kidding.
Dark magic.
Because I was on my Windows 10 and it wasn't working. I was connecting through Edge. I installed Google Chrome, and that's how I got on.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Windows
Okay,
10,
that's terrible. Makes sense.
Edge, no working
Edge is
on
Edge.
LinkedIn or Appearing. I'm sorry.
Edge is good as far as like web standards, but it doesn't do any experimental stuff like WebRTC and
Appearance.
That's why I couldn't. That's why I was frozen all that time.
Okay, makes sense.
Microsoft knows how to make a good browser.
So it wasn't the squirrels.
They actually
Really?
they do, which
Really?
is listen to the community of developers and web designers where we tell you stop doing your stupid crap, and we've been saying it for a decade, and they finally listen. So it took us a long time to get them to stop being awful.
They don't
Because
listen.
there was, IE6 was the most horrid thing ever.
They don't listen.
But
Come
they
on.
started listening in IE9, and then it just kept getting better and better and better. And now Edge is, as far as web developers and designers go, Edge is fine. As far as like experimental stuff like WebRTC, it's trash.
Yeah, or Link or Appearing
Well, that's what Appearin's using.
What is it using?
WebRTC.
Oh, okay.
It's a protocol for video sharing.
So basically,
what they're trying to put Skype to.
Yeah, that is literally what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mozilla got it?
No. Well, yeah. Mozilla has WebRTC. Yeah. Everything has it except for and Edge has it. It just doesn't do it well.
What about the new 54 release of Firefox?
It's got it. Yeah. I like Firefox.
Is it 64-bit yet?
Oh yeah.
It's been 64-bit for years.
No, he's asking it. I think he means like
on Windows.
On Windows. Windows is terrible.
Linux, yes, but not on Windows, right? Is it 64-bit yet on Windows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get it for 64. You can get 64-bit Firefox.
You
And the
gotta
new
do it
multi-process
right.
thing actually does speed it up.
I was going to say, are you talking about the multi-processing that they just finally introduced after 8 years?
Right? No, that's what I'm talking
They've had
about.
it for a while.
I'll tell you what, they said 54 is going to be faster than even Chrome, and I just did the update today, and I opened it now as we speak for the first time. And ironically, the hard drive that I have this Linux loaded back on was on my SSD, is now on a mechanical laptop drive, which eventually I will put it on. And this thing, it's screaming. I mean, it opened up almost like instantaneously.
Really?
And so whatever they've done, it is faster.
You've got to be careful of your add-ons, though, because your add-ons can wreck it.
But were you running it before this? Are you comparing it to what were you running before?
Well, I'm on Chrome. Well, here's the thing. When I do my video watching, I tend to like Opera, especially on Linux. And because I think Opera runs really nice and clean and whatever, and I have this thing I like about it. But then, like for this, when I'm in these Hangouts or whatever, I will use Google because it seems to be a bit more stable so far. But now Firefox. I always used Firefox before, but then it seemed like it was getting clunky. And I do agree with the fact when you said about plugins, but I think that's any browser. You got to be careful with the plugins in there. And one thing I do like about Opera, and I know Rob has said he's used this as the VPN in there. It's a light VPN, but it just if you want to use a VPN in a pinch and not have to worry about doing a full setup, you got a little bit of something to work off of by just checking a box. How well does it really do what a true VPN is supposed to do? Probably not, but
it depends. It's okay. So I'm going to say something. I hope is there like a language issue?
No, not here.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
there's a website called hidemyass.com.
Well, except for Rocco, and
its purpose is to get it's a VPN. It's a proxy fake VPN thing. It's not a real VPN, but it does trick things into using, and that's kind of what Opera does.
Right.
They're kind of like, oh, this is what you think that we are. That's good enough to get by it, but it's not a real true VPN. You're not you're not private. It's not a real tunneling or anything.
Yeah. Okay. It's like a light version of a software. Yeah. It's just.
Yeah,
it's
you don't use Opera
because it seems to run kind of like the features on it. Sorry, Rocco, were you going to say something, or I cut somebody off? Sorry.
I was going to say it's a quick, easy way to bypass your ISP blockings as well.
Yeah, that's basically what it's for.
Yeah, in the UK now, they've just cut us off from every iffy site, for want of a better word. But just either change your DNS or get yourself a quick hide my A, and you can get straight through again. So.
There's a
UK.
Yeah, the UK connections are. I'm sorry, just sorry.
Yeah, no, it's the ISPs. But the beautiful thing about it is the British ISPs don't care. They follow what the government says they have to do, and they will block you from getting to these websites. But that's as far as their blocking happens. If you know how to circumvent it, they don't care. They don't check up what I'm looking at, what I'm downloading, which websites I'm viewing, whether I'm streaming TV shows that I shouldn't be. They have told the courts that they have blocked those websites. They have provided all the DNS lists to show they're blocked. So with a little bit of an internet search, you can get around those blocks in seconds.
So Zebedee, everything that he tried to prevent happening, they failed, right?
No, they've without seeming to bow down to the UK government, they have said and done what the UK government wants to do. I can't go straight to Pirate Bay.
I'm just saying that the UK government has failed what they were trying to achieve, right?
No, you're talking about a different thing now.
But they don't understand what they're asking you not to do.
Right.
Politicians and understanding technology don't go hand in hand anyway. So
I will tell you the one thing from a VPN that I just saw posted recently was what I was going to say is the downside to a VPN if you're an Amazon shopper. Amazon will not let you go through and do any purchasing or things like that. And I saw that just recently. Somebody posted about that because it bounces when it bounces around, and all of a sudden it shows you're coming from Germany or you come from somewhere else that doesn't recognize your account. It thinks somebody's trying to hack it. So there are, VPNs have a lot of big pluses, but there are.
That's a good point. No, that's a very good point, because that would that should be a flag to any kind of defense. Like a company or corporation,
online payments. It could be a lot of things. If it thinks that somebody's trying to hack your account because it doesn't recognize where the ISP's coming from or whatever.
That's a very good point.
So there is a downside to VPN to some extent, but
I mean, you shouldn't use them all the time anyway.
Correct.
You can also change your DNS so that your ISP can't even use your DNS in the first place.
So you're saying we should only use it when we're should be going incognito?
No, because incognito doesn't really matter. It doesn't really do anything.
I mean, the same kind of,
in that purpose. No, VPNs are good for most things. Like there's a lot of things you can get around, like region blocking. You can get around with a VPN and all kinds of stuff. There's tons of things that are legitimate that VPNs are useful for, and also security. They are useful too. You're not anonymous. People should not think that they are anonymous by using VPN, but they are absolutely more secure in the sense that they have to get through multiple barriers in order to figure out what you're doing. So that's unlikely to happen. But it's not impossible. So that people should not assume they're secure by using them. But you shouldn't use them all the time anyway, because a VPN, if you're gonna download content or something, you're gonna download an ISO or something, you shouldn't do that for a VPN because you're throttling yourself for no reason.
Okay.
There's a comment in chat. Frank Martin is saying he buys off of Amazon all the time with a VPN.
I do as well.
Purchasing through VPN?
I do as well. I buy off of Amazon, and I have never had an issue with. I use private internet access.
It depends on the VPN service you're using.
Yeah,
well, that's because you went to a fake Amazon site.
Doesn't the banking
you went to Amazon
institution you're using require something that's not VPN? I mean, I don't know.
The only issue that I've encountered with the VPN is actually Gmail. Depending on what VPN server that I'm connected to with private internet access, it will not connect for outgoing mail. I can receive mail, but I can't send email.
I thought you said female.
No. So I will have to disconnect from the current, if I'm on one of the U.S. servers usually, I'll have to disconnect from the VPN in order to send an email from Gmail.
Carmine said it, not me.
Well, and again, I said I just saw it in a story, so I don't have firsthand actual.
So there are cases where
if you're thinking about, depending on how your purchasing habits are, and all of a sudden you're using a VPN, maybe. So I don't know what triggered it with some people, but I have been seeing more and more with, like that story that popped up the other day about somebody saying they experienced that, and they realized it was a VPN because it was where it was bouncing it from. So, and Tor is another one I see Frank Martin talking about Tor, but you talk about throttling Tor, yeah, you might be more secure with that, but that, if you're so used to clicking and getting through the stuff, Tor, I know this, it'll bog you.
So here's the thing about VPNs though. Like what you were saying that Amazon would stop you. They probably would, depending on the VPN you're using. If someone just said outright it blocks all VPNs, that's wrong. If they say it blocks a VPN, like those P2P VPNs, like Ola or whatever that new one is, it's like Green something. They're Green Lantern, I think that's what they're calling it. I don't know.
Green Lantern.
It's the same kind of thing. It's you are connecting to other people, and you're using their computers as your VPN. So that kind of weird type of VPN would totally be blocked because you are using someone else's connection. and those are probably real connections that are accounts based that already have IPs connected to other accounts. So that could be something that triggers it. They go, oh, you just stop that. But if you're using like private internet access, those VPNs are never used individually without like whoever owns them. So you can have an IP that's associated to you that if you constantly use it, it will work for you and can be consistent.
Wow.
So like if you just because every time you go to a website with those HOLA things or whatever, or OLA, whatever they're calling it, which by the way, don't use those. They will just like don't use them because you are putting yourself in a security nightmare when you use those. Like I don't know if Green Lantern is horrible because I've never tested it because I'm not masochistic, but Green Lantern is a comic book character. I don't know if this is actually called Green Lantern. It might be called Lantern, or I don't know, but it's something like that. I heard people talking about it for a couple of weeks or so. But if it's anything like Ola, stop it, because
Rocco, I'm totally on this tech level, right?
Ola is a botnet.
Yeah,
like a legit botnet. It's been proven to be a botnet. So this Lantern thing could totally be the same thing.
It's like shipping someone else's data.
It's the same technology. It could be a botnet too.
But you know, when I go to Cuba, I want all the connection I can get, man. In Cuba.
That's fine then. But somebody was asking what the difference between Tor and VPNs
my friends.
Because Tor's a VPN.
This is the beauty of talking stuff through, because I don't think anybody should profess to know everything. But again, it was a story I saw and it made sense. But now in talking through this with the points you raised, it makes perfect sense. And obviously I stand corrected because I would not want to put bad advice out there. It's just something that I never thought about. But that would make perfect sense, like you said, because if you're using, it's like anything else, it's like you mentioned earlier about sharing somebody's bandwidth, for a wireless device that they don't have, locked down or whatever. You're throttling it or whatever. Who knows? So there's a lot of things that can come from that. And it's that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, someone asked on the chat the difference between Tor and VPN, and the basic difference is that a VPN is you're tunneling from one computer to another one, but you can select which one you're using. Whereas Tor, Tor is completely different. Tor is you're constantly bouncing around, and you don't even know where you're going to land. And it also you are dependent on the community of exit nodes, and also relay nodes. But VPN is based on you're connected to a company, so you're only dependent on the company's servers. So like and VPNs are not necessarily for security. They're just more secure than basic ISP. But there's also other things you can do.
How do you know that?
What do you mean?
It's another company you're connected to. You're telling me it's another ISP provider. So
they're not technically an ISP, but how do I know they're more secure?
Yeah,
mainly because not all of them are going to be. Private internet access, I can guarantee it, is because of their policies, and they've been sued to reveal their data, which prove their policy was correct. Because their policy is no knowledge. So they don't track what you do. They don't track where you go. They know who you are, but they have no idea what you're doing. Because you have to pay for it somehow. So they might actually accept Bitcoin. So if they accept Bitcoin, they might not even know who you are. But there are certain ways that can identify people who are on it, but they can't know what you're doing because they purposefully do not track anything. So when they were sued to reveal data that they had collected, they were like, sure, here's our data that we have collected. It's useless to you, but here it is anyway.
Damn. They're going to be no use to me because I don't know what I'm doing. I need a company that's going to tell me, what have I been doing?
But see, I'm wrong, Michael.
You can just contact the NSA. They'll help you.
When you talk about security,
they dropped me years ago. They're like, this guy's not worth following.
I was going to say, or you can just contact the CIA with the 25 new exploits that they were recently.
Play Forrest Gump. They'll never follow you.
But see, my understanding, with the VPNs too, is you'll get a masked ISP. So again, it's not that you're totally anonymous, but somebody who may be trying to hack your accounts or whatever. That's what I also understand. Am I wrong or right in that?
You're right in the sense that you would get a masked ISP, but you also get a masked ISP on Tor.
And you can change it exactly. You log in, right?
You can change you can't change the IP in a sense of like specifically the IP, but you can choose what country the server is from, and it will give you a randomly selected IP from that server database.
Yeah.
Not database, but server farm. So there's that option is more masking and more secure than your basic system. Even if you change your DNS, it's still more secure than changing your DNS.
Next Friday Night Live, I'm logging in with a VPN. You'll never know who I am.
I believe it, and because
you'll never know it's me.
Well, because you're going to throttle your bandwidth, and therefore you crash more when you're hotel.
No, isn't Tor? Which one is the dark web? I know is one of the things that you really shouldn't do.
Tor is often used for that kind of thing,
right?
But also I2P, so it's not necessarily just Tor. But also Tor is not necessarily for a darknet thing. There's darknet that's on HTTP. You can find some crazy crap on there too. So that like it's there. It's darknet is like super. Anyway. We don't
want to educate people in the wrong.
I'm not going to go into that. I don't want to explain that crap because
they might be watching.
You don't even want to know that crap. Honestly, like,
I don't know.
Go to any of this stuff. It's like I regret the second I thought of doing that. But and I only got to like a couple Onion darknet stuff, and it was like, nope, never. But anyway, so my Onion, I mean Tor stuff. But Tor is awesome because it's a fantastic routing IP structure because it's going to constantly bounce you. It's going to it's the most anonymous thing you can do. The only problem with Tor is you are kind of reliant on the exit nodes. So the exit nodes can see where you're coming from, and some of the exit nodes are not really benevolent.
Yeah, I was going to say
there's limitations on where you can visit too. I think, if I remember right, I don't think you could go every single place you're used to going to. There might be some limitations. I think on where you can.
There's some places that block Tor, but you can use Tor in most things. Most protocols support Tor. Tor has its own protocol as well. It's the Onion protocol, and then you have the Tor. The problem that Tor has, the slow part that people experience of Tor, is not really Tor's fault. It's the user's fault trying to use Tor to download things, which is silly and ridiculous.
Right.
Because that's not what it's for, and you're gonna like, oh, why is it so slow? But because you're throttling yourself for no reason. Like if you're going to download something legitimate, don't use it. You're going to download something not legitimate. Well, you have a problem there anyway. So,
yeah. Oh boy.
I've had conversations on my channel saying, "What's more secure, Linux or Windows?" The most secure operating system is the one that does not connect to the web. That's the most secure operating system. Period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
my Windows machine is not connected to the web.
Good call, Carmine. Good call.
Simple.
But I mean, it is. I mean, Linux is more secure for sure. Guaranteed.
Yeah. But generally speaking, once you get on the web, how do you know 100% that you're secure and private? It doesn't exist.
Well, security and privacy is totally different things. Like they are related, but they're different. Yeah. Very different.
I'm not talking viruses on your computer. That I give it to Linux in terms of malware.
Okay.
But Windows 10 with all the updates is okay. But regardless, once you get on the web, Windows 10 is okay. Windows 10 with all the updates, and I stress with all the, not a pirated copy of Windows 10.
I'm not talking. I'm saying really. Anyhow, Carmine.
Quick question on those.
How long you been on Windows creators?
Say this again.
You had the creators update on?
Yeah, I downloaded it.
Live on that?
I didn't have any problems.
Yeah. How long have you been live with that?
From day one.
When it first came out, I had it on. I got on a week after I downloaded it and installed it.
Okay.
I was leery about because I heard the stories, maybe you should wait and this and that, but I took a chance. I actually installed it on this and my backup desktop. Now, so far I haven't had any problems, but see, it does the automatic updates and the patches for security, right. And they're saying what I've read that if you have a fully updated system, that includes Linux, by the way, you should be okay from viruses and malware. But in terms of getting on the web and privacy, it doesn't exist, man. too many
agree with you,
variables.
Cameron.
The
I'm
user
just
on
talking
Windows is
about
still the
the
administrator.
stability of the Windows 10 and the creators, whatever. I was 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in after doing the creators update, everything went dead.
Windows or Microsoft did say right after they released it, they said, hang on, we've had some issues, and they caught it, so they stopped it. They stopped forcing the update to. I think that was what they wanted to do. But I installed it anyway. I took a chance. I guess it was a hit and miss, and so far, no problems. And I dual boot, so it didn't mess up my grub or anything.
We do that. We don't wait. We don't wait till it's safe.
The big push for me.
It was specific hardware. There were specific hardware issues.
That's what they do in New Jersey, but here in Ohio, man, we take our freaking time, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what we do here in upstate New York too.
Away from Windows 10.
A quick question on a Windows 10 update. There's this thing where you have to turn it off, or your machine feeds everybody else and becomes part of a sort of a BitTorrent network of Windows updates. Can anybody who uses that maliciously add code, or does it literally just take what's on your machine and feed it into the update network?
It uses signatures.
If there's someone on your network who
any addition,
don't doubt
that signature would change.
The signature of the file itself would not change. No. So basically, it's like hashing the file. So they hash the file that they put on your computer with the signature, and they check to see if that signature is valid or not. If it is valid, they'll use it. Otherwise, no.
So if you try to alter it, there's no way you can cheat that signature.
Depending on, I don't know because they're closed source. I don't know what their algorithm is. So in theory, it shouldn't be. They should be able to be locked completely. They shouldn't be able to manipulate it or not.
Oh,
if they do the signature.
Great question, Zebedee. Great question.
I just turn that off anyway, because why should they use my bandwidth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem when you turn it off. I would turn it off too. My only point was like, in theory, security wise, if they're using a proper algorithm, it'd be fine.
Go on YouTube and look up Barnacules. This guy Jerry used to be a Microsoft developer, and got fired from there or let go when they did downsizing. It's not that he did anything wrong. He was just a bunch of them, in the pool of employees that got let go. And he was pretty bitter for a while, but then, he kind of mellowed out a little bit with it. But then even recently, he gets on his tangents where he gets ticked off when they do crap like that. And he's been putting out some videos lately on how to shut off some of the stuff, even that, they say, oh, you click the button, it shut off, and it's never really shut off. But he's been putting some videos out on things you can do in there to kind of tweak your system a little bit without hurting it. And,
Who was that?
Barnacules is what he goes by.
Mr. Blobby.
Yeah. Nerdgasm.
Yes.
That's right. Nerdgasm.
So, again, a question for you technical guys. This Spybot Search and Destroy, they've got this anti-beacon thing.
He's not counting us.
Supposedly turns off all the telemetry stuff. Do those third-party applications work?
To a point, but once you reboot, I think you have to start all over again. I'm not mistaken, but
I mean, the application itself should be able to turn it back off again.
And those could be dangerous.
Well, the thing with those programs are you could sit there and, some of them are free, but you could sit there and pay constantly for programs that say they're going to protect your system. And they all pretty much do the same with the exception of a few. So I don't know if I would go, buying different programs all over the place.
Search and Destroy, isn't Spybot free?
Yeah, well, Spybot is free.
Yeah, and they've got this thing called anti-beacon where they've got a number of different telemetry tracking areas that they say they can turn off. But you're right, Carmine. As soon as you reboot, 2/3 of them are switched back on again. But Windows do that anyway with an update. You go through your privacy sections and you say to it, right, my microphone can't do this. My radio app can't do this. I don't want all these applications running in the background. You reboot and they're straight back on again.
There are some registry hacks that'll help you make it somewhat more private, but you got to watch what you're doing in the registry, which is why I don't recommend it on my beginner channel. But generally speaking, Yeah, something like that. There's Spybot and there's something else. But generally speaking, once you reboot or if there's a massive update, it starts from scratch. You have to go back in. So I just stopped. I'm not hiding anything. As long as the system is stable and everything works, I don't care for the politics behind Windows 10, but Windows 10 works. It does work. Gaming is terrific. It's mostly stable. It's easy to use.
That's not really fair, though. It's not as far as like the stability of it. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's probably not fine. It's more fine than people claim it is. But like, I don't like it when people say that Windows is good because it has the best gaming. Windows has absolutely nothing to do with the games being built. Like the APIs that yes, Windows DirectX is involved, but they could use anything else. The developers are just choosing that. But now
because that's the biggest audience.
Right, they're only using it because of the market share. The Windows itself is not a good platform. You see, like if you get one game that works on both, depending on the game, if it's whether it's ported correctly or not, if it is a good port, it is a much better experience on Linux because it doesn't have the bottleneck of all the other Windows crap. Like, I just don't like it when people say like Windows is good because of gaming. It's like
too many variables in Linux. You have issues with will my graphics drivers work in Linux? Is the hardware compatible with the software? See, if there was a Linux standard, like whatever the Linux standard is, there's just too many freaking distros and forks. Everything gets forked up, as I used to say.
Okay, hold on a second. I agree.
Yeah. Generally speaking, if you go to DistroWatch, there's 100 there listed. Out of the 100, maybe 5 are really solid Linux distributions that can be used every day to replace Windows or maybe as an alternative.
That might have been true 10 years ago, but the 100 list now has got so much better. It really has.
It could be.
The other thing
it's got 7 now.
Yeah.
The other thing that makes it
they narrowed it down solid
is I think it comes down to your hardware too. If you've got a newer machine, you got more powerful machine, you got newer hardware, you're going to find you're going to be able to have a better time on there with it running. Not saying it's perfect because I just had that issue.
Yeah.
I just told Rockwell tonight, a few weeks ago where I was getting some distortion on Payday 2 was the game. And I don't know if it was just because I went to a different megahertz RAM. I had 1866, which should have been fine. Whatever happened, or it could have just been the distro, but I can run Payday on Windows and Linux, but even the other night I played yesterday, it's screaming. It runs great on it. So, but I still think it comes down, and I turned on the VSync and all that stuff. So, I think if you have newer or more powerful or better hardware, that in itself also contributes to it. Now, I do agree with you, though, when you say that, Carmen, that it's just that's still been the common complaint with Linux is that. It's the support. I mean, when you still go back 10 years ago, yeah, you look at what it was 10 years ago and look at what it is now, it's night and day. And I think it's pretty darn close. And
it's better.
In the next few years, it's going to be there.
It's gone a lot better, and I thoroughly enjoy dual booting. I'm 60% Linux, 40% Windows, in spite of, again, the graphics issues where my screen, you guys can't see, but my screen goes black at random times, and it comes back on. It doesn't do anything. And it's the graphics card and incompatibility, but I let it go. I'm like, am I going to say Linux sucks? It's not fair. That particular feature sucks.
Carmine? You got NVIDIA or AMD?
It's AMD. Yeah, it's AMD. It's a hit miss. On my other desktop at AMD, it doesn't do it.
Hit miss too.
Yeah, it's hit miss. So it is. That's what it. I knew it ahead of time, but I upgraded to the 16 series.
Are you using proprietary drivers?
It's the
I use open source.
Yeah, they're right. I use the open source. Yeah.
So you use the Radeon open source drivers.
Yeah, but whatever. There is. I call them the extra drivers, but there is no proprietary drivers available for my system. So
I was going to say, aren't AMD having real problems with proprietary drivers on Linux at the moment?
In my 7 years of using Linux almost full time, I've found out for me that NVIDIA seems to be a little bit less troublesome.
Yes,
the Linux. Generally speaking,
a little bit.
Intel.
I totally agree with Carmine. Totally agree.
Not by a lot, because others say it's the opposite. But
No.
I mean,
because all you got to do is install the NVIDIA driver, and you're up and running. And not so much help.
Well, that's true. Okay, if you want to argue between the open source versus proprietary, open source Radeon AMD is beyond better than the Nouveau.
Yeah, the newer stuff.
The Nouveau drivers are just
my HD 5770. Bye bye.
You know, the Nouveau is cool because they do a lot of cool things, but NVIDIA doesn't give them any documentation to do anything. Whereas, you know, the funny thing is, like a year or two ago, NVIDIA were like, "Here's documentation. We're going to help you like make it or fix Nouveau and make it improved." Blah blah. They're like, "Great, thanks for confirming stuff we already knew." Like we already built this. You did not have this in any way.
If there is one thing that is predictable about the Linux desktop, the number one thing about the Linux desktop that it is completely unpredictable, because you just never know when the graphics drivers won't match or the hardware.
It's like your weather, Carmine.
Well, the weather today is freaking hot. You see what I'm saying?
You see, I have to disagree with you there, Carmine.
At least you got power.
I've been running Linux since 2009. Back then, it was my worst nightmare because I didn't know about it. But since 2015, my primary desktop has been Peppermint 6, then 7, then 8. I install it. I put it on. It's boring. It just works.
No, it's gone better.
It never falls over. Agree. So it's gone better. I did a video. Linux is everywhere. Tablets, GPS, the space station, on Mars in your car, but not on the desktop. Not yet. Meaning mass marketed.
There's a difference between being like heavy market share and being there.
Well,
and we're never going to have
0.71%. I mean, or whatever it was. It's not there.
That's saying Linux is not dominant on this one platform. That's true, but it is there and it's dominant everywhere else. So like, it's in the sense of like, I think that people should look at it like, Linux is, Linux is the most popular open source. It's the most popular operating system ever
in devices that they don't even realize they're using.
But until you can walk into PC World and buy one, never going to
happen forever, and it's probably
we can do that now
in a bigger market share that way. But now that you're talking about drivers, one of the things that just dawned on me too. Again, and you weren't in here, Carmen, when I mentioned I had a problem with Mint and my computer shutting down this and that, and I redid it. But the other thing I did was an NVIDIA update recently because I use proprietary drivers, and I'm wondering if that isn't also corrected my gaming issue with this.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, because when you're one of the things that, and when I've done for research, AMD right now is still having issues on Linux with certain things. Now, I do agree with
it's unpredictable.
NVIDIA is more stable on Linux.
In fairness, AMD's drivers, regardless of platform, have always sucked.
Really?
Yes. They have. I'm sorry.
It goes all the way back to ATI day.
Why didn't they tell Dell that? So they didn't sell me this.
I originally had AMD cards, and the Catalyst drivers were terrible.
I got an i7 8-core huge desktop, and because it stuck the wrong goddamn graphics card in it.
Well, you gotta change it. Just go to the expansion bay in the back.
Boy.
But the funny thing is like Radeon.
Never mind, I'm a Browns fan. I can't learn.
Oh, you're in the
Polish
pound.
And a Browns fan.
Oh, you really have Morocco. Here we go again.
I think what'll be interesting is to see what AMD does between Ryzen, all the different things they're coming out with now. The way they're making NVIDIA nervous, and it'll be interesting to see what they do on the Linux side of things soon. I'm hoping, maybe it's just optimism, but they finally realized they were in deep trouble to the point of where they were almost going to be extinct, and now they're giving NVIDIA a run for their money with a lot of the stuff they're coming out with, CPUs and even the graphics cards and stuff like that. But again, that's still Windows, of course, but there's some things even happening on the GPU side right now for Windows that there's been talk about GPU coming out that's going to just walk all over everything. So, and it wouldn't surprise me because of the path they're taking. It's no different than the i9 that just came out. They rushed out with Intel and stuff, and they're catching holy heck for it because it is literally rushed out and it's causing all kinds of problems. And it's just, and for the money that they're charging and the minuscule, it's literally minuscule gain of what you're getting from it. They're ticking off a lot of people in the gaming world and the tech community by that. So, and it's all because they're afraid they're going to be left behind a little bit. And in fact, they need to kind of smarten up and just, and that's what AMD did. If you remember right, think about something. AMD, all you heard about, like I've got an 8370 in here, okay, and then they come, and I knew Ryzen was coming out, but they're saying, oh, they haven't updated in 4 years. Well, you know what? Think about something. Maybe there's a reason for it. 4 years, and look at what they came out with now. So maybe they took the time to really do their research, and so that when they came out, and even when they did come out with it, they still said Ryzen still came out a little bit sooner than it. Well, to me, I look at it as anything that's new is always going to have a bug here and there, but they certainly have, even since it was released, have cleaned up whatever little issues they had, and it's phenomenal. I mean, it really is. And from the biggest thing is the price point and the performance. They're just about neck and neck now with their competitors.
Yeah, I don't think AMD's versus Intel is that big of a deal anymore. It's going to be still because of the graphics drivers. Other than that, it's processor-wise, they're pretty solid now.
But even their graphics, that's what I'm saying. There's talk and there's some things, especially
it's
J2 whatever. He does a lot of reviews on this, and he's been really pushing now on the AMD. And he's the one that was talking to recently that they have something coming out on the GPU side that's going to give them a big boost or a big leap. So I hope he's right.
Pro is a good stack, and it's not really where it needs to be right now, but it's getting there.
Yeah, and it's just like
System 76. If they their own graphics, or are they using NVIDIA or AMD?
They're an OEM company.
Do they have their own graphics?
No, they don't. They use NVIDIA or AMD, more than likely NVIDIA.
That was my question. Okay.
Damn it. They don't technically build the hardware. They just essentially put them together.
They're like Dell.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
There's really only two
I was hoping there was a new player.
No, there's not.
No, I was going to say there's only so many ODMs you can buy from.
WD, I thought you were going to start a graphics company.
No, why would I do that?
Because we need one.
So Intel is
one
the
that
only
plays well with Linux.
Combination of graphics. Like they're the only ones that it might do it, but they probably won't.
All right.
Because they have the
stuff. What about the Intel graphics chips? Are they just basic?
Those are not really. They're not graphics cards. They're just motherboard things, and they are very good for what they are.
Right.
But they're not individual core graphics cards, so they're nowhere near as powerful.
It's like the AMD APU, pretty much.
Yeah, very much like
AMD and NVIDIA are better than them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no. If you're not a gamer, it doesn't matter. You can be fine with Intel graphics.
What if you are a gamer?
Then you need one of the other two.
I would argue that if you're not a gamer, Intel might even be better. Because
absolutely, Intel's
you
better.
have less issues.
One, you save $400, and two, you don't have to worry about any kind of like tearing and stuff because Intel's support for Linux is beyond better than the other two.
Really?
Yeah. Well, way better. And in fact, Intel is actually an open source stack.
I was going to say pretty much everything's baked into the kernel. So
it is amazing.
So NVIDIA is what I should be picking, not AMD or NVIDIA.
No.
If I want a game on Linux.
NVIDIA is what you want for Linux gaming.
Yeah.
In Windows gaming, it doesn't matter, whatever. And in productivity and basic uses of a computer, Intel. But if you're going to do any gaming, you have to just bite the bullet and pick one of the other two. And typically, NVIDIA right now, NVIDIA is way better than AMD in graphics for gaming on Linux. Yeah, on Windows, they're pretty close. And in fact, sometimes people usually get AMD on Windows because it's cheaper, but and almost as good.
Almost.
It's like 95% there. So it's like I'm gonna save $200. I'll go AMD.
But NVIDIA is still the top king.
Now, see, I'm gonna put a footnote to that because, again, getting back to the Ryzen processors, Intel still has the edge on gaming, but Ryzen isn't that far behind. Ryzen is still definitely a better production right now than what it's come out with. It's right up there with the Intel stuff, but
that's why I was saying 95% there.
Yeah. So from gaming, yeah. I mean, the truth of the matter is, it depends on how hardcore and how into this you really want to get. Would you say don't game on an AMD? Absolutely not. But especially the new Ryzen's. Now my 8370, it'll still do a decent job, but it's not going to. The AAA games may show a difference depending on what you're running. As
5770
Ryzen's now, it's going to probably be something that's going to be a little bit negligible in noticing. There's still some things there. And again, I'll bring him up again. As Jay's 2 cents is got a huge following. He's over 1 million people, and he does one hell of an excellent job. And he actually had 2 machines. He's got a video that he did maybe a month or 2 ago, where he had an AMD when he first he built the Ryzen machine, and then he had his Intel, and he'd stress test them both, and it was very, very close. I mean, very close for it. And he'll tell you the differences in what he thinks, where he sees stuff going, and I'm telling you right now, that's why Intel did what they did with plugging out and pushing out the i9 right now, because they're nervous, and they may have still screwed themselves a little bit with that.
Yeah, Ryzen has a ton of potential. It's not. Right now it's not there, but it's close.
You're right. It's getting there.
Alan, don't you have a Ryzen?
I was using.
What's that?
I believe Alan has a Ryzen, don't he? His internet connection just cut out on him, but
I can hear you.
I'm 18.
You're freezing up though, like I used to.
Can you guys hear me?
Well, you're not free. You're kind of.
You were cutting in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're blurry yourself too.
I'm gonna try and.
Must be the heat in Arizona or something.
I'm gonna.
I passed on the bug to you.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's contagious.
Look, I'm back normal.
Yeah.
Oh, you're normal? Oh, okay.
Well, the other thing too is
Intel
pricing is
this
starting
is
to
close
come
to like that, I'm
You're
up.
passing the mosquitoes
You're
again.
down.
Yeah.
as normal as ski can be.
Yes.
Simmer down now, Rocco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Intel's pricing is starting to come down as expected.
Oh, you totally nailed it, dude. It's so much better.
They're still still up there, but you can see they're starting to have some price drops coming.
Yeah, it's funny because as far as processor goes, it's still Intel, and as far as graphics go, it's still NVIDIA. But AMD is so close on both of them. There's so much potential. It will switch over in a couple of probably about 2 years, maybe 3 years. It'll switch completely if Intel and NVIDIA don't respond properly.
But it doesn't seem to like AMD.
I don't use either one of those. I don't like AMD at all. Like I don't use any of their stuff. But I want to. I used to, because they used like 10 years ago. AMD was way better.
Who uses it today?
I do. I actually, my new business machine, the one like I said, it's technically, anytime you build a machine nowadays, it's technically gaming capable. But I have the 8370 on there, and it's got the new Wraith cooler on it and stuff, and I'm perfectly happy with it. And that thing rips. It's an 8-core. Now the 8 cores are still different; they're not hyper-threaded compared to an 8-core Intel. But I do think that I like them, and they're not. They still have some of their line that runs on the hotter side, but they've done a better job with that too, where their temps have come way down too, and even their like the Ryzen's have come
running it on Linux.
Their power usage has been much improved too.
And you're on Linux.
What's that? You're
running on Linux.
No, this is the machine I'm on right now is my Intel machine. It's the i7 4770K. But I do have. So
you're running Windows or Linux?
On the business machine with AMD, I've got Windows 7 Pro. On this one, I've got 2 different drives. I've got Linux Mint, Mate on this, and then I've got the Windows 7 Pro on the other.
Yay, Mate for the win.
1704?
Mate.
Mate, that's right, mate.
Yeah,
Crikey, you're another Linux mate user, mate.
Just don't let Popey hear.
Great
Just
job.
don't let Wimpy hear you say that.
I say it the American
My
way.
point was that your AMD is only going to work on so many Linux distributions. It's limited.
Say that
Alan,
again.
before you left, you have a Ryzen, right?
I didn't hear everybody. Say that again.
Alan.
So I don't have one
That
currently. I actually got
He's
one.
gone again.
card is only going to work on so many Linux distributions.
Yeah, he's kind of quiet. Let's hear what you. Go
That's
ahead.
me,
Go ahead.
right?
Say, we heard him. His audio.
Yeah, he's got a Ryzen, but it's just for testing right now or something.
Oh, okay.
My back.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Man, I'm like the king of the hill now that I got it figured
My
out.
back.
I'm going live. I'm not frozen.
Okay.
He's kind of quiet.
All right.
Sorry.
So let me my mic. Hold on. There we go. Just jump that up. How's
You
that?
want me to help you?
That's too loud now.
How's that?
That's high.
All right. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
I don't
I'll
see
leave it
him
there.
or hear him.
Hold on.
I
Hold on,
turned
Steve.
my camera off. All right. So I had an R7 1800X, and I'd gotten it from my company for testing because they were looking into changing their production machines, or their reasoning is beyond me. But I had gotten one to play with, and I was supposed to only be doing performance testing and whatnot. But of course, I decided I'm going to game on it because I can. And so it wasn't like blowing me away in terms of gaming performance, because that wasn't ever the point. But what did really impress me was doing other things at the same time. Streaming. Not necessarily, I didn't stream to a service, I streamed to a file. That it is. And so that really impressed me. I had absolutely unbelievable performance gains when doing stuff like video encoding while doing whatever it is I was doing. So that's where it really hit hard. And that was the big boost.
Nice.
Do you have any driver issues?
I ran into a few because I had done it very early on. Not necessarily. It was more or less performance discrepancies, so it wouldn't always work as it should. And a lot of that was fixed and patched very quickly by AMD, but it was still a bit jumpy. It was, I'd say, instance dependent. It wasn't always a consistent problem.
Makes sense.
But what other hardware did you have on it too? Because I know one of the things about those new CPUs, they tend to be a little bit more hardware specific right now too.
Yeah. So at the time I was using a at the time I was using a 1070.
Okay.
And it wasn't really, I didn't run into much in the way there. I'll be honest with you. There wasn't any issues in terms of hardware there. The one thing I did notice was RAM. High-speed RAM, this is probably something that everyone's aware of with Ryzen, is high-speed RAM was not in a good place. Have I gone away again?
That's terrible.
No,
we're listening.
Oh, okay.
I'm being a weirdo. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, but it was mostly all right. For something that was really early on, it was actually just fine. Now it's a lot better. I had gotten my hands on it twice, and I only got about 2 days with each. But if I were to buy something for my own personal self, I'd probably get the 6-core and just stick with that. I did really appreciate the performance of the 8-core, but it's at this point not worth it for me for what I'm doing.
But you were saying early on, so if, like I said, when they first came out, they still had some bugs to get out.
Yes, they did.
But now they've improved there. They've supposedly
Things are much better now. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, and that would make sense.
Yeah. And Ski, to answer your question, I run with a AMD FX. I think it's 8320, if I remember the exact model number. I run Linux distros on it perfectly fine.
So do I. I can't play any games though. I cannot get Metal Knight games.
I can play plenty of
No
games.
question. What?
Ski, upgrade, will you?
What version of AMD do you have?
I have 8320 FX.
HD 5770.
Oh, that's why.
Yes.
A 5770. That's a while ago.
Yeah, you're talking 1, 2.
It's only 7 years old.
That's like dog years, dude.
Let me translate to
In
7
hardware.
years in computers is a century. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
I was going to say, seeing how new graphics cards are supposed to be
70 would
upgraded every
help me out
18
here.
months.
Picking on me.
I'm on a 960.
No, I'm serious.
I'm fine.
Like if you have a 7-year hardware is like a 5-year hardware is borderline replace it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's replace it.
Come on, man.
No, if you have I have a 4-year-old machine and in like a year and a half I'll replace it because it is going to be. I'm not going to completely replace it. I'm going to have it like a secondary usage for it. But there are certain ways where like once you get to like 7 and beyond, if you want to do like basic usage, you're fine. But if you want to do like hardcore gaming and stuff,
Then
it's not gonna
explain to
happen.
me why on a Windows software this hardware is fine. But on Linux, it's way too old. Throw it out. You got to play new hardware.
That's because you're only playing solitaire on Windows, Ski.
No, I'm playing my Blizzard games. I'm playing
Is it a quad core?
Well, you can't.
8 core.
That's it, right?
It is. How
I
much
got
RAM?
an 8
How much
core.
RAM in it?
I mean, you can't really play Blizzard games on
8
Linux
gig.
anyway.
Yes, I
That should be
can.
enough. Should be enough then, yeah.
Well, they don't support Linux, even though they use Linux servers.
Which is redundant, but
Let me tell you something. I got an update because I dual boot. I got an update for my hidden folks, which I love. All right. And they just came up with the factory add-on to it. And guess what? In my Linux side, it didn't even work. I clicked on it, it froze. In my Windows 10 version, not only was it new, it was more graphically they optimized the graphics. It was beautiful. It was no
What game was it?
lag, no stutter. It was beautiful.
What game are you
Good to
talking
run
about?
it in Linux.
What game?
folks.
What
Hidden
kind?
Folks. It's an indie game, which is I would think the least graphically challenged game on Linux or Windows.
So it depends on there's an issue with Linux games in general. Not necessarily that Linux is bad or anything, but most of the time the developers of Linux games are not the developer of the game. They're porters. So there are possibilities that ports are not done properly and the port itself is broken. And like,
You know
for
what our
example,
problem
Witcher
is?
2, when it first came out, didn't run on any AMD at all.
It was terrible.
Like, for me, it was fantastic. NVIDIA and Intel, it was like butter. It was fantastic. AMD, it was like, did you forget about AMD? Oh, you literally did. Okay, so that's why it sucks.
Thank you,
Because people
virtual
were running on
programming.
AMD, and they even specifically said, "We're sorry, we built it for Intel and NVIDIA."
And that's the thing. If you look at like how Farrell's done a lot of their porting, a lot of their first titles did not support AMD cards.
Yeah,
at
they
all.
screwed up in the beginning. Like, and they're now solid.
Linux side.
Yes,
Linux.
Farrell
So
is
basically,
a.
if you're running Windows, there's no.
You're not dealing with a port. You're dealing with the original development. So it's a
Exactly,
completely different
exactly.
situation.
more ammo to. You can't give up your Windows.
A real problem, writing.
No, definitely not. Because
You're freezing. He's
this
pulling
is
his
this is a different thing. As a user, you might not want to give it up anyway because of the games, but you don't have to, and that's the benefit. The fact that Linux can be dual booted is why it's great. You can use it whatever you want, and then if you want to play games, you switch over. That's one of the things that makes it great. You're not required to use it all the time. You're not forced to just wipe everything.
I was going to say.
Whereas with Windows, you kind of are forced. Otherwise, it won't boot. You can't install Windows second. You have to wipe everything.
Gaming's the only reason that we haven't unplugged from Windows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, there's certain people, as far as a consumer, yes. As far as like a professional videographer or a professional designer, that's a different topic completely. As I'm a professional designer and I've been using Linux primary for over a decade.
Steve, hold on.
I know
what we really need to be
losing
doing?
Carmine here.
He's just leaning back.
He's just doing that.
But
I think our problem is we're not writing all our games in Java.
You talking to me, man? I'm here.
You're losing me. I'm telling
Java's
you.
not
just chilling on my
Because
rocker.
I'm going to
man.
bed soon.
Yeah.
Don't link it down, Carl. That's what we said.
Bring the Belgium guy back.
Well, Michael, kind of like to your point. Just look at what Chris on for Jupiter Broadcasting talks about. I mean, being a professional videographer and stuff. As far as the tools on Linux, it doesn't do the job.
That's not what he is, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but
it's a good example.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm actually a producer, Michael from Jupiter Broadcasting.
Yeah. No, I know, but
okay.
Are you really?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, he is.
I love it.
Nice.
On Linux, do not equate to what.
I'm also the guy who runs Text Digital, so I do my own production too.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
So
He's way too techy for us.
I'll leave. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm a consumer, and I'm not even a good one at that.
So that's the best part. I like talking to that because one of the things I wanted to talk to people is the consumer side, because I've been in the development side and the engineering side for so long that I don't remember, I don't really experience, of not knowing certain things when you're going to get something or when you're going to try something. So my experience is automatically skewed. So I like conversations like this because of that specifically.
Let me tell you something. I would never go back to Windows if you could solve the gaming issue. Okay, because there's every application I could ever want is in Linux, and actually better ones.
Yeah,
it's just the gaming.
All you got to do is change your brand of Linux games. Go and find some Linux games out there that have been built from scratch. There's lots and lots and lots.
3,000.
You just don't happen to like some of them.
Hey, anybody say Tux Racer? Come on.
I'm stuck in my
Tux cart, by the way, is getting really good.
I gotta stick with Asphalt 8 Airborne, man.
I tried that. I seen you crash and then flip it in the air.
It's cool, ain't it? Yeah. It's like it's like those New Jersey drivers. It's great.
Actually, that's what I do with the European truck driver. But
there was a racing game I played years ago, and I can't remember what it's called. But it was you were like always running over Carmageddon. Was that what it was?
Carmageddon, yeah, the old
Carmageddon is the kill.
Yes, the game by the Disney Channel. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was like a crazy racing game.
Yeah, there's a joke about 20 points. I hit that guy on the street. And people say that. So many people don't even know the reference to the game. They just know that joke.
But now we have a Carmageddon.
Yeah,
it's called Texting and Driving.
And who was the guy who played in the movie Carmageddon?
It was Toss.
that I didn't even know they made a movie for that game.
Yeah, Carmageddon.
No,
what was it? Death Race.
It was
Death Race 2000.
Death Race
2000.
Yeah. But that's still 20 points for knocking the granny off the sidewalk type thing.
Yeah, I think they took the idea from Carmageddon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Carmageddon's a fun name too. I like the name of it too.
See?
All I know is after all this
You're shaking your head, Toss.
You want to know why I'm laughing? I played a Scarface game. Tony Montana's driving this car, and he has a hit on someone, so he runs the guy over, and Tony says, "Hey, man, is that your blood in my hood? Wipe it off, man." I just popped into my head. It was so ridiculous. It was funny. God.
Well, think about something. After all this conversation we had tonight, there's one platform, hardware that didn't come into play, and it's that fruit thing. You know, the one with the bite out of the side of it.
Yeah.
Actually, it did earlier.
I like Raspberry Pis.
Still markers on that?
What's that? Pear OS.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
If it didn't require me walking down the hallway to get an apple, I would totally do it.
Right.
That's for the Mac Mini that's sitting right next to me.
All right, guys. Well, look, I am going to shut the stream down. I'm getting tired. I got to get up for work tomorrow, for crying out loud.
Oh, where's
Oh,
the
I forgot
phone?
you were there, Rocco.
Huh?
I forgot you were there.
You're killing me, dude. You are totally killing me.
It's okay, Ski. At least we can actually see you now, and you're not a freeze frame.
It only took 3/4 of the stream to get me there.
And that's an improvement. How?
Have you put a post-it note? Have you put a post-it note on your screen for the next stream? Don't use internet.
Right? Don't use Edge.
Don't use Edge.
Actually, that's a great idea, somebody.
And then he'll come on the next stream complaining that his graphics card's got this yellow square in the corner.
I don't want to make the same mistakes.
Can I ask a question I actually meant to earlier and I just remembered since I said Edge?
Whatever.
I don't know everybody's name here, but one of you said that you wanted to you use Opera, and I wanted to ask why do you prefer Opera over Vivaldi?
All right, before we go do that,
I like Opera.
Who's here? Everybody knows me. Matt?
Yep.
Carmine? Joe in the bottom? Ski? Everybody knows you now because you were frozen in time. And Zebedee is down in the bottom right.
Thing.
All right. So, okay, who was it that said about Opera?
It was Joe.
It was me.
It was you, Rocco.
It wasn't me, brother.
I haven't really given Vivaldi a second chance lately, is what it comes down to.
I like both.
I tried it early on in its stages, and they were still. Matter of fact, I think it's funny you mentioned we talk about Jupiter, because I was watching I think it was one of Chris's shows when he originally talked about Vivaldi, so I gave it a try, and even admittedly, I think back then, and this is a while back, he had said, they still had some hurdles to get over, things like that. So I just haven't gotten around to trying it again. And Opera I used a long time ago, and I thought, let me give it another shot, and I just got to like it. So I mean, I can throw it on here and try it and see how it works. You think it's better than Opera? Then is what you're.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to advocate.
Fern OS is including a default of Vivaldi, which is the original creator of Opera. He's just
the people who the CEO of the original CEO of Opera is the current CEO of Vivaldi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vivaldi's essentially doing Opera in the style of that you would expect Opera to do, like innovative features that Opera created in like version 12 and older. Those are still available in Vivaldi now. Like they're doing a lot of things like that. So they have a better bookmark manager than most. Firefox still beats them there, but overall, one of the coolest things Vivaldi's just recently did is a history analytical structure. So like, it's not just here's a history of your things. Here's a chart and histograph of all the things you do and like the how long you spend on a particular page and all this huge amount of data you can check on yourself. You can also turn it off, but it's got a lot of cool
From
features.
a cosmetic point of view, who can get Vivaldi looking good? I think it's awful.
What is awful about it?
It just doesn't skin properly. And when you try and play it with a dark theme, half your pop-ups you can't read.
No, okay. With Vivaldi, you can just change the.
I know what he's saying. No. It does theme well until you use it. He's absolutely right.
You can turn off that feature. There's a feature where it automatically makes the highlight of the browser. Like right now, the highlight of appearing is pink or like magenta-ish. That is like taking over my tab. I don't really care, but if you didn't like that, you could turn that feature off and only use the specifics you want.
So I've just got to do a bit more digging.
Yeah, there are a lot of settings in Vivaldi.
Vivaldi has that's kind of like, hey, you're going to this website. Wouldn't you like your browser to blend to the website? I'm like, not really. I kind of get what you're doing, but not really. So in general, it's fine. You can turn that off, and it is kind of annoying. The only thing I really hate about Vivaldi's design is the Vivaldi logo on the top left is impossible to remove or change. So that bothers me.
Yeah, that keeps me up at night too.
If I could just make it
watching us right now, Vivaldi.
I'm using Vivaldi right. I'm technically, to be honest, I'm using Vivaldi and Firefox at the same time. I like Vivaldi.
I like Opera. I use Pale Moon Browser, Cubzilla.
I like Vivaldi because it sounds Italian.
Hey, Vivaldi, what's the matter with you?
I like Vivaldi because it's got the an homage to opera, like the real opera, not the Chromium version. Yeah. And opera still kind of does it a little bit, but like the new one. But they're going in a weird direction I don't really like. As far as like as a fan of the old opera. But they're both Chromium based things. So as far as like loading stuff, they're the same. But in my opinion, Vivaldi has a lot more potential to what they're doing like innovatively.
What about Brave?
I think that Brave is like a joke.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I think Opera runs lighter and quicker than even Chrome in some ways. And I do like the tiles and stuff. So there's some features about it I like. I would be willing to give Vivaldi another look. The only reason I haven't been using Chromium more is, again, not that I do it that often on here. Every once in a while I like to throw on Netflix or whatever. It's little quirks like that. But it's funny. There are a lot of people that think it's backwards. They think Chromium derived from Chrome when in fact it's the other way around.
Right.
And they don't realize that.
Yeah, Chromium is the main base. But so Brave is kind of crappy because it's like, oh, we're gonna remove all ads except for our own ads, which we're gonna be paid for. So
that's really
like, I'd rather not remove anything than to be like these like underhanded liars of like, oh, we're all talking about saving ads from you and giving you protection, and except we're tracking you and we're getting money.
Okay.
So anyway, I was just wondering about the Firefox Opera thing because Vivaldi Opera thing because I like Vivaldi more than Opera.
You just came out with 54.
Yeah,
have we tried it?
It's okay. I have it. Yeah,
I use Firefox Primary. That's my.
But have you tried the new update, the 54?
Yeah, I'm using it right now.
And it's you awesome. Notice anything? What's different?
It's faster. The multi-process by default is not on.
They using sandboxing now?
I don't use the sandboxing because I don't like. If you mean sandbox, okay. First, what do you mean by sandboxing?
The browser itself using the sandboxing effect between tabs.
Okay, that's not sandboxing. But that's process isolation.
Okay, sorry.
So this is what people talk about Chromium and Chrome having sandboxing. Like they don't, not really. They have process isolation, and there's some sandboxing from one tab to the other, but what they're talking about, the separation of the processes, that's not sandboxing.
Okay.
But process isolation is the electrolysis E10S Firefox multiprocess mode. That's not on by default in Linux. It is by Windows. So if you use Firefox in Windows, you have it. If you use it in Linux, you don't. You just got to activate it. I don't know why they did that. They just announced that it's not going to be default. I don't know why. I use it all the time. It's way faster. Before 54. I haven't really noticed it because it's only been out for a couple days. But electrolysis had a problem. It was kind of buggy for a while. Since it's unstable, I expect it not to be so buggy. But I've been using it for like a year, maybe 2 years now. And it was awful in the beginning, and then worse after that. And then then they started fixing it. So like it's been pretty good for about 6 months. I mean, so I like the electrolysis stuff. But the thing is, people don't know. Some people don't know. Firefox's multi-process mode is not really anything like Chrome's, and that's why Firefox is so much lighter than Chrome. People think that because the multi-process automatically means that you're going to be, using more resources because Chrome and Chromium use ridiculous amounts of resources. But Firefox, that's because every single tab in Chromium and everything on top of it, each tab is its own process. That's not how Firefox's multi-process works. There's a mega process, and each inside of that mega process has a separate process for each one of those things. So the browser won't ever crash because the mega process is controlling the multi-process structure. So it's like it's a hybrid of the two, of the main process, the singular process, and the multi-process. So you get the benefit of a process isolation without the massive bloat of the RAM usage.
So Chromium is using the massive multiprocessing on each tab.
Yeah.
Versus
each tab is its own
overall.
process. Each tab is a separate process. That's why you could find Chrome by itself using like 7 gigs of RAM for no reason. It doesn't seem
that's
like
why if you ever go into your resources, you'll see a list this long.
Oh yeah, and it's all Chromium.
Yeah. Another feature that Vivaldi has is if you right-click a tab, you can say hibernate this tab or hibernate other tabs, so that you can cancel all of those tabs out and save the process, but you still have your Vivaldi running, and all the tabs are still there. They're just not running anymore.
Well, it's time for me to hibernate for the evening, so I'm out of here.
See you, Carmine.
I'll catch you.
We're keeping around. Look, Carmine's already bagging out.
Firefox is the best, by the way.
Rocco's ready to fall off his chair.
I'm going down. Going down slowly, but I'm going down. Well, the only thing I wanted to ask you, Michael, is that tab loading thing you just talked about, is that kind of the same as the Great Suspender Chrome add-on?
The Great
Suspender. Yeah. The reloading thing is it'll like save the tabs, and then when you open the browser back up, it has the tabs back where you were. They're not running, but they're there, so you can open them if you want. Opera and Vivaldi do that by default, and Firefox has a feature you change in preferences.
Right.
Would you recommend Firefox to a Windows user right now?
Yeah. I don't know. It depends.
You can't answer that, can you?
For me, I say Firefox is by far the best. But that's the different thing, because I can't really say for everybody. But as far as like, is it the fastest? It might be now because of
not necessarily fastest, but the best process handling just for normal browsing.
As far as like, it might be slightly slower, but it's definitely the least RAM usage, even with the new process.
Okay.
Like you can claiming now 54 is faster than Chrome, and like I said, I noticed from opening it up a day or two ago to because I just updated it today and hadn't opened it, and I did it while we're on the show now, and I noticed it's completely different.
It's still 32-bit on Windows though?
No, it's
64-bit.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. It's
64-bit
When did they
for 2 or
switch to
3 years.
64?
They have both.
I guess I've been online so long I forgot. I didn't know.
Yeah, so the Firefox on
Thanks, Rocco.
Windows is kind of like, you know, if you tested Firefox on Windows,
look, I've lost them.
I haven't tested it on
it's giddy after a lot of
Windows since the new release, and I was a diehard Firefox user up until several months ago when a lot of people were complaining. Say, you mentioned that crashing. I was having issues with it crashing and some other stuff, and it specifically was on Windows. So I don't know. Right now I'm on Linux and it was running fine. So it'll be interesting. I'll try it on my other machine just to see, or my other drive. And
Electrolysis has gotten a ton better. Like, people didn't have crash on Firefox if they didn't use electrolysis, but as soon as you turn it on, it was like weird. But they fixed that about 6 months ago, and I've been using it for a very long time. But like Mozilla does all kinds of stuff that piss me off every time, and I still like Firefox the best. But there's like a few specific reasons why Firefox is better for me, even if it's slightly slower. There are a few features that just go, Firefox is way beyond feature.
Yeah.
Like, and not even add-ons. I mean, built-in features. Like there's probably like currently now there was like 15. Now there's about 9 or 10 of features that are built into Firefox by default that most people don't even know exist, that are super awesome and save time massively. Like the bookmark manager I was talking about, Vivaldi, is basically a copy of Firefox with missing 2 features that if they had, they would be just as good. But they don't have it, and Firefox just dominates in that sense.
And I'll agree with you there, because the book to even just to manage your bookmarks and everything, it's just a simple right click. I mean, it's a lot. I think it's much more superior to Chrome. So. Yeah,
but you have the best part about Firefox. There's 2 features. I'll just quickly talk about so Brock can go to sleep. Has there's the bookmarks for folders and tags. You can use both of them at the same time. You're not isolated, so you can have a hardcore or directory structure or a very soft tag structure, or both. And you can have this one feature called there's no name for it. I call it the keyword bookmark search built-in thingy.
Yeah,
it's very, very technical description. But
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So in keyword, in Vivaldi and Opera both have it, where you can type a keyword to your bookmark. You can say, let's go for Reddit, for example. You can type R, and then it just automatically goes to Reddit. To R, enter, and goes to Reddit.
Go to Rocco?
It should, but whatever you want. It's up to you. But if you in Firefox, you can say the same thing, except put a %S symbol in the location, and then it will automatically type in whatever you put in. So if you put R space Linux, it will go to the Linux subreddit.
Yeah.
So you can use that. It's kind of. Have you ever used DuckDuckGo?
Yes. Me? Yeah, I have. It's still a little. I think we're also used to Google. It's so cumbersome though in some ways.
Okay, well, DuckDuckGo is like not necessarily. I use it all as my primary, but it's not the best because the reason like DuckDuckGo is my favorite is because of the bang system. Have y'all used that?
Yep, the bang system is good.
Only outside of these streams.
So, not that kind of bang system. So the bang system, if you don't know, when you see something like as an exclamation point and then something after it, it means bang this. That's the short term of saying exclamation point is this bang.
Is that how you see it, Rocco?
And so when you do bang G or exclamation G space whatever you do in DuckDuckGo, it'll just automatically send you to Google, and in an encrypted version of Google.
I can't see Bad Wolf interpreting it that way.
So it's kind of like it allows you to use DuckDuckGo if it doesn't have the right Cyrills you want, easily switch without having to retype everything to Google or whatever you want. You can even do bang AUR and search the AUR repo directly. It'll just take you to the website. So that's a really cool feature of DuckDuckGo. What I was talking about with the bookmarks is you can build your own bang system in Firefox and make custom ones.
Shit.
Okay.
So those are the two features that if any other browser had, I'd probably switch.
You know what I'm going to switch to?
The
I'm going to switch from my chair to bed. That's what I'm going to switch to.
He's going to go to sleep mode now.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I really appreciate everybody stopping by. It's just a little bit long. That's all. Yeah. So
I next time I'm on, I will stay for 5 minutes and no more.
No, you should stay.
No,
the whole
you should
time.
stick around.
You should stay the whole time, just like you did tonight. It's just
join at the beginning.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Why don't you start hosting your own?
I understand. That's fair enough.
Excuse me, guys. It's
Your own
6
so we can
o'clock
join
in the
in.
morning. 6
We'll
a.m.
get a pot of coffee ready.
Yeah, he wins with the latest.
Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Oracle, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys.
Could have done it without you guys. You helped me with the technical issues. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
See you.
Stop crashing.
Bye-bye.